Welcome all to NFL Pub Hub, the divisional round breakdowns for monstrous football games. First one popping off in 4 hours and 29 minutes. So there's lots of time for all of the cappers to put their X's and O's together, make sure it correlates with however they see the market and get that money. I'm very confident with my action here. Very, very confident with my action here. Now, we know that confidence doesn't equate cash, but I don't know what's the right word, at peace with it. I feel like this is exactly the bets. These are exactly the bets that I want to make. And I've got 8 bets on today's card. Shout out to all the cappers joining us, and shout out to everybody who is still possibly on our Starting 5 basketball show and that will be coming over to our football show here. We got Mel in the house, Harold Williams, New Worker, Von Polo, Joe Walsh. I can't wait to deliver here. Jose, can you please send LJ the link? He's messaging that he doesn't have the link to the show. Great to see all of you guys. Sir Mackey loves pie. Troy Torrance. I was concerned with my action on the Rams +6. I feel like I nullified that by putting the Lions double result with the Eagles money line. Makes me very comfortable. I'm on 4 unders. I'm on the under in every football game here this weekend. That was not part of the plan initially, but I moved on all of them. Mel starting out this show with a comment saying the books love people who bet nothing but overs. Looking at this action, Texans +8.5, Houston, KC under 42. The Lions double result with the Chiefs. I have the Lions double result with the Eagles, -112, +116 respectively. Washington, Detroit under 55.5. Yeah, I'm nervous about it, and we'll go over that. I'm nervous about that spot, but the Rams +6, I do again feel like I nullified those nullified the concern. Then I have Rams Philadelphia under 44. I thought I beat the line. It went down to 43.5. I was very confident. And then all of a sudden it shot up to 44.5. And I'm like, oh no, I'm screwed. Now we see it down to 42.5. And I'm just very thankful. And then Baltimore Buffalo under 51.5. I feel great with the action. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. We got Gerald Jones ready to rock. Troy Torrance, Coin. Great to see you, Coin. He's on the under 41.5 in this first game. We got T-Moss, Sir Mackey, Nordy. Great to see all you guys. Pipe Layer, thank you for the very kind words, my friend. This is, as you start doing these shows with 14, 13, 12, 11 games, on this Sunday and Monday combined. Now with 4, I couldn't feel more prepared. This is about as prepared as I've ever been for football games and for a show of this nature. So that's my action. 8 bets on 4 games, and I feel very good about it. We've had a successful year, and we need to finish strong. LJ from H-Town, 12:05. He'll be here in a minute. We have Clint McLean right after that. We have Birdie Betts, Marley, Flash, Ramon Scott, Keith, each and every stride, and 2 cents, just my 2 cents closing up the show today. Those guys like Keith has only been on the show once. He had a winning show. He's back for this hugely important show. 2 cents has been with us for 3 shows. He's cashed in each and every show. So notable injury report here. Lions quarterback Terrion Arnold with a foot injury. Running back David Montgomery with a foot injury. Full participants ready to go. Then Zay Flowers still listed as doubtful. Didn't practice all week. And Harbaugh told reporters on Friday that he believes Flowers will have a chance to suit up. So that is an interesting situation here that we'll also have to keep eyes on. So let me just okay, there we go. We got our guy LJ ready to rock here because it is time to bring on our cappers. We have 8 cappers ready to attack this card. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Yes, wine time yesterday was spectacular. It started out poorly with the Randall props falling apart, but did we ever murk that Brooklyn Nets game? Absolutely wonderful. Jared TG, we will get that for you. Are we ready to rock? I'm looking backstage. Do you need more time to put together the LJ, you ready to rock, my man? Okay. So we don't let's get started. Your first guest, he is coming off the single greatest performance in a week that we had all season. wild card round, our first guest, LJ from H-Town, went 12-2 plus 9.57 units. That shot him into second place here out of 36 cappers on NFL Pub Hub, 65-54. 65-54 plus 9.32 units. Please welcome our first guest, LJ from H-Town. LJ, how are you?
I'm doing great, Jimmy. How's my audio? Everything good? You can hear me?
Yes, you sound good. We also have the world premiere of LJ's new track for Pub Sports Radio that will be closing off today's show. LJ's world premiere will be here shortly. Ken Mizrahi, thank you for being here. Nasty Nate talking about the remix. Yes, the world premiere of the remix will be closing up our show today. LJ, my man, are you ready to get to work?
Yes, sir. Let's get to it.
Every capper on our show will be discussing each of the 4 playoff games, and we start with LJ's Houston Texans. This is the AFC Divisional Playoffs. Texans 10-7, 5-4 on the road at the Chiefs, 15-2, 8-0 at home. We're at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. 23 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 11 miles per hour. On the injury report, a surprise to see Joe Mixon on there. I don't think it's a big deal. He didn't practice on Thursday. He was limited on Wednesday. I don't think it's a big deal, but he's on there. Aziz Al-Shire is also on there with a knee injury, but he's going to be good to go, and as is Robert Woods. McCole Hardman out. I don't think that's a big deal. And Jalen Watson may come back at some point during the playoffs. They've opened up his practice window. We don't expect it to be a big deal. So let's get to work here. Line history wise, and I'll only go over this with LJ. The rest of the cappers will just roll through. From a total perspective, I'm on the under 42 and minus 110. I got the under. What did I get exactly? Under 42. Damn, I was hoping for some reason I was like, did I get a hook on there? I did open up at 42 and a half. We're now at 42 minus 116 to the under. So you see 41 and a halves across the market right now. When we get to the point spread, we have a nines right across the market. If you want, this line opened up at 7.5, so it's been a pretty big move towards the Kansas City Chiefs. Pretty big move towards them. Let's take a look at the cash flow here. We have a 50-50 proposition here. 55% of the tickets, 52% of the cash on the Chiefs, 79% of tickets, and 70% of the cash on the over. And the market is moving towards the under. LJ, my man, take it away. Your first look on the board.
Yes, sir, Jimmy. Looking at the Texans early, we've been doing it all year long, and I just have to believe in human nature that the Chiefs are going to start off pretty sluggish, man. I don't think they're going to be hitting just right out the gate, just because the starters have been off since Christmas. I think that's a long time for you to still be in sync and cohesion, but I think they will get it together eventually throughout the game. But just to start off the game, I believe that the Texans can take advantage, especially with the pass rush, considering how vulnerable Kansas City is on their offensive line. And history shows that when you have success beating Mahomes, he's usually being pressured, running around, trying to get away from the rush. And sometimes he usually pulls out magic and eludes the rush and makes a big play. But I believe that the Texans do have that advantage with their edge rushers and defensive line. And I believe that's the only way they could stay in this game to potentially pull off an upset in the second half. But we're just going to stick with it first, Jimmy. If it ain't broke, don't fix. Texans first half. I'm going to take the 6. I just believe they're going to keep it close. And I believe that we're going to go to the number one score that we have on our team. We're going to Fairburn. I'm going to take the over 1.5 field goals, minus 150. Because I believe he's continuously hitting 2 field goals in these games. And if we stall out in the red zone, we get in field position, we're going to have to take those points because all the points are going to matter in this game. I don't think we're going for it on 4th down on our side of the field, anything like that. So I believe DeMeco's Ryan's going to play a very smart game. He knows he has some injury issues, concerns on the defense as well. Mixon is now banged up now. So it's a lot of factors that's playing against us in this game. But the fact that in history, dogs, 10 plus points or more or less, 71% against the spread in divisional rounds. So the Texans, if they can turn Mahomes over, make a big momentum play, hey, you never know. They could be in this game and possibly pull off a shocker. But I'm not going to bet that. I just believe Kansas City is going to eventually pull out the game. They are 11-0 in one-score games, so they could easily have the last possession of the game and walk it off with a field goal. It could be that close. I can see that. But I believe that they will take advantage of the game. They are the defending champions, and they're at home. So I believe eventually they'll take the game. And I'm going to take a couple props on their side as well. I'm going to take Kelsey, 6+ receptions, and them to win at plus 150. I just believe that he's going to be a major piece to this offense. He has great history in divisional games. I believe he has 9 touchdowns in 5 straight divisional games, if I'm not mistaken. And he's had 5+ receptions in 14 straight playoff games, if I'm not mistaken. So I believe he's going to be a major part. He's been missing for the past a couple weeks, but I think his playoff time to handle business, and Travis Kelce's going to be a major part of the offense. So I'm going to take that, and I'm taking my fair burn over 1.5 field goals. And I want to add this too. Over 3.5 field goals plus 105. Both field goal kickers, I believe, get over 1.5. I took that last week. I believe that's going to cash again. So you can add that to the show. And that's where I'm at, Jimmy. I'm going to root for my Texans. Hey, they may pull off a shocker. I'll be happy if they do, but I can't put my money behind it. Kansas City's the better team, and I believe they will prevail.
Texans first half plus 6 for LJ. Fairburn over 1.5 field goals minus 150. Kelsey 6+ receptions. Chiefs money line at plus 150. Over 3.5 field goals at plus 105. We saw these teams meet in week 16. I was bullish on the Chiefs in that spot, but the Chiefs were 3.5 point favorites. Now 8.5. Both teams averaged 5.4 yards per play in that one, and we know how good this Texans defense is. I'm on the Texans plus 8.5. I'm on the under, but I did tie the Chiefs money line with the Lions double result. Again, the Texans defense 4th in success rate allowed, 5th in EPA per play, 2nd in points per quality possession allowed. And then to this point of the 10+ point dogs, another interesting point that deals with both the Chiefs and the Lions that we'll be discussing throughout the show is home teams in the divisional round coming off a bye are just 33-42-1 against the spread since 2003. Since 2020, they're just 3-5 against the spread. And as a favorite of 7+ points off of a bye, those teams are just 17-24-1 against the spread. I'm on the Texans full game. And another point, this is going to close under 43.5. This is the lowest total of any playoff game with Patrick Mahomes. So you see here, Trap God on the over 41.5. And we also see here in the chat, Chris Warren talking about dome teams don't normally do that well. For CJ Stroud, he's only 5-6 straight up in outdoor stadiums. Passer rating of 83.8. His numbers dip, only 6.6 yards per completion in outdoor stadiums. But I think he can do enough to keep this within a score. And I'm on the plus 8.5. We roll on with LJ from H-Town coming off a 12-2 week with us last week. 12-2 plus 9.57 units. And we roll into the NFC Divisional Playoffs. Washington Commanders at Detroit Lions. No surprises. Kevin Zeitler out, a guard for the Lions, a depth defensive lineman and Pat O'Connor out. But the most important part, Terrion Arnold in, David Montgomery in. Let's get to work here and hear LJ's plan of attack here. Let me move back to the full game spread. Full game right now for these Detroit Lions. We see 9.5s across the board. 9.5s right across the board. These 9.5s are juiced towards the Commanders. This line opened up here. It opened up at an 8.5. So we've had another move towards the favorite, which is not a big surprise here in playoff football. From a total standpoint here, we have a 55.5 right across the board. I'm looking at a 56 right now, but it is minus 113 to the under and plus 101 to the over. This opened up at 55.5 at a pick'em. When we get into the cash flow for this spot, it's a coin flip on the side. 51% of the tickets, 51% of the cash, but this line is moving towards the Lions. We have 50% of tickets, 50% either way on the total, but 69% of cash on the under. Take it away for us, LJ. Commanders, Lions.
Yeah, Jimmy, I see this game pretty much Detroit. The fact that David Montgomery's coming back in this game, they're going to rely heavy on the run game because they know Washington is vulnerable on the defense in that situation. So I'm looking at time of possession, long drives. I just see Dan Campbell trying to milk the clock once he gets a substantial lead in this game. But I'm going back to what I've been taking all year, Jimmy. If it ain't broke, first half, minus the 6 for Detroit. Whatever best number you can get me, I'm on it. I just believe they're going to jump on them early, as they usually do, and they're going to try to hold them off at the end of the game. Now, Jane Daniels proved to me last week that he definitely can win a big game. He did it in college as well, but this was the NFL. He proved it last week. But at the same time, if that field goal would have missed, Tampa Bay would have got the ball back, had a chance to win that game. So he's been coming up with these victories late in the games, actually 7 wins in the final 10 seconds, including 5 straight games that Jane Daniels has won. So if he has the ball, last possession of the game, and they have a chance to win, yeah, Dan Campbell's going to have some sweaty palms out there because he's already proven that he can do it in this situation. So he's going to have a substantial lead in this game to feel comfortable to keep these Commanders off. So I'm not mad at the plus 9.5 full game. I didn't take it, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Commanders covered the spread. Both offenses are really good, like I just mentioned. But like I said, the fact that Washington is number 3 in pass defense, so Jared Goff is probably going to be limited on the big play passes. So I believe they're just going to try to run the ball and establish the line of scrimmage, wear the Commanders' defense down, and keep Jane Daniels on the sideline. Because what better way is to neutralize Jane Daniels is to keep the possessions down for him. And I believe that's exactly what the game plan is going to be. Dan Campbell's a very aggressive coach, and he still has injury issues on the defense. We know that, but I just believe at the end of the day, in the fourth quarter, they have the ball. They have the advantage. They're the home team, and I believe they will eventually pull out. But if Jane Daniels has that ball last possession, anything can go. He is a rookie quarterback on the road, and 4 rookie quarterbacks have won this game and went to the championship round since '04. Big Ben, Flacco, Sanchez, and Purdy. But all 4 of those quarterbacks had an excellent defense, giving up 17 points or less, all 4 of those teams. Washington doesn't have that type of defense. Now, they were bottom 10 defense throughout the season, but the last 6 weeks, they were top 10. But I just believe the competition that they were playing allowed that number to get to that. Today is a powerhouse with Detroit. They're the number 1 seed in the NFC, and I believe this is a different competition for them. So I believe that defense is going to come into play in this game, and that's why Detroit will eventually prevail. But I'm on them early, first half, minus the 6. Not to mention 2 props. Jahmyr Gibbs, 2+ touchdowns, Jimmy, plus 221. He's 10-4 to the touchdown at home in his career. So I believe he could get a rushing touchdown. He could get a passing touchdown. We're casting at plus 221. And I'm going to take Jalen Williams, 80+ receiving yards, plus the win at plus 195. Because he could easily catch one pass for 80-some yards, maybe even take it to the house. He's a big-time player, big play guy. And I believe that Detroit's going to take a shot eventually to try to get a big play. And I believe Williams will be on the receiving end of that big play. So those are my plays. Also, not to mention, I'm going to take some on Washington's side because I believe they can put up points. I'm not going to take the over because I believe it's probably going to fall short, maybe 54, 53. I believe it's going to get caught up on that 55 hook. But Washington put up points, so I'm going to take the team total over 23.5. Give me the best number you can find me. I believe they put up points. They can get to 24 points. But I believe Detroit will maybe score 30, 33, somewhere around there, and they'll eventually win the game. Looking at it like that. So that's how I'm looking at it.
I like it. We have Lions first half -6, -109. Gibbs 2 touchdowns plus 221. Jamison Williams 80+ receiving yards and Lions win. What was the juice on that?
Plus 195.
Plus 195. And then the Commanders team total over 23.5. You can get that at -101 available right now. This total of 55.5. I'm trying to get underneath it. Last playoff game to close with a total of 55.5 was in 2021. Been some time, a few years. It was the Browns, Chiefs, Mahomes, Baker, Mayfield. That finished 22-17. 39 points were scored in that one. And the issue here with the long drives, the issue with the Commanders is 3rd highest yards per carry allowed by the Commanders, 4.87, 6th highest EPA per rush, 29th in Pro Football Focus run defense grade. I like your action. Let's roll on, my friend. We move on to Sunday, NFC Divisional Playoffs. Rams 10-7, 5-3 on the road. The Eagles 14-3, 8-1 at home. We're Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Want to keep an eye on the weather. It's going to be heavy snow tonight and until about 5 in the morning, and then it's just snow. But it turns into rain right around kickoff, and then turns back into snow about an hour and a half into the game at this point. So we got to keep a very close eye. Also, the wind picks up at kickoff 11 miles per hour. There'll be only like 5 or 6, 7 miles per hour throughout the day until about game time, when it picks up by about 4 miles per hour. Eagles have Byron Young out, but the issue really is around the Rams, who are on a short week. They have a bunch of questionable players. We know that Troy Reeder and Murchison are out, but nose tackle Bobby Brown, offensive lineman Alaric Jackson, offensive lineman Justin Diedick, and then Akilo Witherspoon. Now, Akilo is the only one of those players who practiced on Friday, so keep an eye on that injury report. I was concerned that I may have made a mistake being on the Rams +6, so I did tie the Eagles money line with the Lions double result, and that gave me the +116 spot. The Lions right now are a 6.5 here, opening at 5. They moved to 6.5 officially about 35 minutes ago offshore. The 6.5 is just -102 if you want the Eagles. There are other 6.5s at Pick'ems. So, Troy's talked about all year the importance of the dog going from 6.5 through the 6 into 5.5. Well, we've had the opposite take place here. From a total perspective, this is a 42.5 market wide. I'm looking at a 43 that's -112 to the under. I was extremely concerned when this on Wednesday was 44 -111 to the over after I had thought I'd beaten the market move. I'm very pleased to see it now down to 42.5. When we get to the cash flow for this spot, 39% of the tickets, 36% of the cash on the Eagles. Very difficult spot for these Rams. Outdoors, short week against this tough team in a tough place to play. Just 28% of tickets and 33% of cash on the under. Feels like a good place to be. Take it away for us, LJ. Rams, Eagles.
Yeah, Jimmy, I just believe the Rams is a mismatch on defense. I just believe the defense of the Eagles is just too strong for them to compete in this game. The weather conditions are going to be shaky as well, and the Eagles are the home team. So I believe all those advantages point to them. They're number one in defense since their bye. They've held their opponent under 20 points 10 out of their last 13 games. They are a power run team. Offensive line dominates, and they've scored 26-plus points since the bye 8 out of their last 14 games. So I just believe the Rams were just had a matchup against the Vikings that they had the advantage. But when they come over here on the road, going into Philly, who plays very well at home, especially in the playoffs, hurts at home in the playoffs, 3-0 against the spread. Defense is allowing 24 points total in those 3 games. So I just believe they're going to be outmatched. Now, I would love for the Rams to win this game because I want a Rams and Detroit rematch for the NFC Championship like week 1 that they played. So I would love to have that. But I can't put my money on it. I just tied the Eagles money line with the Detroit money line. You can give me the best number with that. I just believe they win the game. I don't want to take the 6. The Rams, I believe in Sean McVay. So even if the Eagles jump on them early, Sean McVay could go into halftime, come up with a scheme to try to get back in the game. And, hey, he possibly could get lucky, swing a momentum, and have a chance to, be in the game and win. I can easily see that happening. I don't trust Sirianni in the second half. I believe he's a front runner. They get the lead, and then he wants to, be confident enough to where his defense can hold off. But if he has to play from behind and press, I believe that's the coaching mismatch in Sean McVay. I believe he's much smarter to know the schemes and system that he can come up with. Like I said, at halftime, make some adjustments and get back in the game. But I just believe eventually the Eagles are the better team. And the fact that the Rams are the only team left in the playoffs with a minus point differential, -19. So Eagles are +160 point differential. So that right there just lets me know they're outmatched. And 5 out of the 6 games they played versus a top 10 run offense, they allowed 24 points in all those games but one. Played their worst defensive games in those games. So all that, I'm just going to tie the Eagles money line with Detroit money line and just leave it at that. But I'm going to be rooting for the Rams to stay in this game.
I like it. You can get that Eagles Lions money line parlay at -157. I use the double result for the Eagles to bring it up to plus 116, but I thought a lot about just betting it the way you are betting it. Chris Warren giving us a final score of 23-17. Rod Zawacki says, bet on Sean McVay in away or neutral games, revenging a same-season loss against an opponent. McVay's record as coach of the Rams, 8-1 against the spread. Of course, these teams met in week 12. Eagles beat up the Rams 37-20, and the Eagles ran for 314 yards in that one. We also have Rod saying, a bet against Nick Sirianni after allowing 17 points or less in 3 straight games. Sirianni's record as coach of Philadelphia, 0-5 against the spread. This Rams defense has been much improved of late. Since week 15, they're ranked fifth in EPA allowed per play. And what caught me was this Sean McVay in his coaching career on short rest. We talk about the coaching advantage for the Rams. On short rest, McVay's 16-7 against the spread, 7-1 over his last 8 games, 12-2 over his last 14 games on short rest. With Stafford as his quarterback, McVay is 8-2 against the spread on short rest. Now, you add outdoors in the snow and in the rain, it changes, obviously. Let's roll on to the next spot on the board, the final spot on LJ's card. That's the AFC Divisional Playoffs, and all of our cappers are going to be breaking down all 4 games. Ravens, Buffalo, Bills, Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York, 18 Fahrenheit. We've got snow showers listed all day. We had snow showers listed last week, and it was a perfect day with no snow showers. So, we're going to use our guys like Jim Dewigger, our cappers in the chat who are from Buffalo, boots on the ground, who will tell us exactly what the weather is supposed to do. 18 Fahrenheit, snow showers listed, and just 4-mile-per-hour winds. Again, they talked about Zay Flowers. I do not think he's going to play. Obviously, this is doubtful, but Harbaugh did say there's a chance that he could still play. Zay Flowers doubtful. Ray Davis will get through concussion protocol, we've been told, but he's not gotten through yet. Let's get into the line history here for this one. This total is at 51.5. I am on the under 51.5. It's at minus 112 right now to the under. It's juiced towards the under. On the spread, we have Buffalo plus 1. Minus 105. They opened minus 1 at minus 104. You're getting a better idea about the spread if we get to the money line. On the money line, we have Buffalo at plus 102. It opened up at minus 111. So they've gone from a favorite to underdog, and this slips into a monster situation for Lamar Jackson. First off, when he opens as an underdog, just opening as an underdog, he's 17-3 against the spread in his career, 19-1 in 6-point teasers. And only 6 times in Lamar Jackson's career as he opened as an underdog and ended up closing as the favorite. 6-0 against the spread. 6-0 straight up, covering the spread by 9.1 points per game. LJ from H-Down, take it away. Bills, Ravens.
Yeah, like I said last week, man, everybody knows I'm on the Ravens to go to the Super Bowl and win it, man. So I have no need to bet aside in this game because I believe they're going to win the AFC anyway. So I'm just going to sit back and watch this game. I took some props, but we get to that in a minute. But yeah, I'm just going to sit back and watch the game, man. I just believe the Ravens are the better team. I believe they're the more battle-tested team because I believe Buffalo played the weaker competition throughout their season. And the fact that all 8 wins versus playoff teams that the Ravens have played, they won by 7+ points. So I believe they win this game. I like Josh Allen's year. He had a good year. But at the same time, the fact that the Bills are the worst team versus explosive plays, the Ravens are the number 1 team in explosive plays. 10+ plays, yards or more, 25% of their plays. So I believe they're going to run the ball heavily. They're going to wear down Buffalo's defense, and they're going to limit Josh Allen's possessions. I believe the same way that Detroit is going to win their game is the same way the Ravens are going to win this game. Run heavily the ball, and I just believe Buffalo's vulnerable on the run. You can run on them. The linebackers aren't good in zone, like in open field. So I believe they have a lot of advantages the Ravens have to take care of this game. Interesting enough, Jimmy, both these teams are plus 157 point differential. You can't even get better than that. This matchup is going to be elite. I'm going to enjoy it, sit back and watch it. But I got to lean towards Baltimore, like I said, to win the game. I've already invested in them already. Unless Josh Allen is Superman today, hey, he could easily pull it off and pull this game off, but he's going to have to play a hellified game to beat this Ravens team that's been rolling since their bye. And I believe they're on a mission to go to the AFC Championship, play Kansas City, which also they played the first game of the season. So I believe the NFC Championship, the AFC Championship are going to be the same teams that we saw in week 1. So now to my props. Justin Hill, Jimmy, touchdown. Plus the win, plus 700. Because I believe he's a sneaky back, get out the field, and a lot of attention is going to be on Derrick Henry. Justin Hill can sneak in there, get him a touchdown, and get that win. Plus 700 is what I took. And of course, going back to what we do best, I've been taking it all year. Lamar Jackson, 2+ touchdowns, plus the win, plus 144, because I believe he's going to get 2 passing touchdowns. He got weapons that he can give it to. Even though Zay Flowers is not playing, he still got weapons he can get it to. He's been cashing this ever since week 10, I believe. It's been like 5, 6, 7, 8 straight weeks. I don't know what it is to be the exact number, but he's been cashing this over 1.5 touchdown passes easily. So I tied that with the win, plus 144. And I might as well throw this in here just to add a little spice. Henry, touchdown, plus the win, plus 112. I believe he gets a touchdown, rushing or receiving. I believe the Ravens will handle this game early and often. Not to say the Bills are going to get blown out, but I believe the Ravens are going to dominate this game just enough to where we know the Bills are not going to have a chance to win this game. So those are my props in this game, Jimmy.
You are locked in, my friend. An interesting cash market here. It's 50-50 wherever you look. Bills on the spread, 55% of the tickets, 54% of the cash. Bills on the money line, 51% of the tickets, 49% of cash. And the under, 47% of tickets, 58% of the cash. It's a very tight spot. I fear that late night offensive hijinks are going to cost my under. Big Ragu on the first half under. I sat there for so long and then decided to go full game. I fear that was a mistake. I didn't want to double up on the under, and so I ended up only taking full game. All right, let's review our guy LJ's action again, coming off a 12-2 plus 9.57 week, the single greatest week we've had this season. He's on the Texans first half plus 6 and minus 105. Kiami Fairburn over 1.5 field goals minus 150. Kelsey 6 or more receptions. Chiefs win at plus 150 over 3.5 field goals at plus 105. Then we have Lions first half minus 6 at minus 109. Gibbs 2 touchdowns at plus 221. Jamison Williams 80+ receiving yards. Lions win at plus 195. Commanders team total over 23.5 minus 101. Eagles Lions money line parlay minus 157. Justice Hill anytime touchdown and the win. We know with Zay Flowers out that the 2 receivers, well, just Hill running back, obviously, but catching passes out of the flank. The 2 receivers that get a huge boost, Rashad Bateman and Justice Hill. Hill touchdown and win at plus 700. Lamar Jackson over 1.5 touchdowns and win at plus 144. Derrick Henry anytime touchdown and a win at plus 112 for our guy LJ from H-Town. LJ, with the world debut of LJ's new track for Pub Sports Radio closes off today's show. LJ, thank you for everything that you do for us. I cannot wait to be hanging out with you at the Southtown 101 for Pubapalooza 4, my friend. Any last words for the Cappers supporting the show?
Yeah, man. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. Like Jimmy just said, y'all stay tuned to the end of the show. It's going to be a treat for y'all. Y'all are going to love it. Believe me, you're going to love it. But, yeah, enjoy y'all weekend, divisional round weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get this money, Jimmy. Always appreciate you for letting me come on and share my expertise. We cap these games. It's a long battle. It's a lot of research. It's a lot of time. But, hey, when we cash, it pays off, my friend. Believe me. So, yeah. Everybody, let's have a good day. And, of course, like I always say, let's keep cashing.
There he is, our guy LJ from H-Town. Let's bring on our next guest. He has been with us for 5 of the last 6 weeks. And he has been with us the last 3 weeks. He has been so much fun to cap with. And all of us thinking about him at the Vikings game brought us enormous laughs because he cares so much. He cares so much. And that's why I want him on all these shows. And that's why cappers gravitate towards our next guest, star of the Die Hard MMA podcast, currently ranked 9th out of 36 cappers on our show, 28 wins, 34 losses, but his average line, both our next 2 guests' average line, enormously high. So despite being 28 and 34, he's still up 0.02 units. We're bringing him back for another shot to get back higher into the black. Please welcome our friend, Mr. Clint McLean, to the show. Clint, how are you, my man?
Hey, morning, Jimmy. I'd be a whole hell of a lot better if my Vikings had not just shit the bed that last time out. And if Sam Darnold had not decided this was the time to turn back into a pumpkin, I'd be a whole lot happier. But you know what? We've got hockey on this morning. We've got football on this afternoon. And then there's fights tonight. So it's going to be a good day. I'm excited.
And you did provide us with enormous laughs. So, I mean, the two pictures, the side by side pictures of you before the game and you during the game. If I'm ever at a wedding and I need to put on that fake smile, I'm going to think of those two pictures and I'm going to put this huge smile on my face.
It's so what I do.
I love capping with you, man. You make capping so much fun. Let's get to work. Clint, we've already set these games up. Texans, Chiefs, Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. Take us home. What's your plan?
So, Jimmy, on this one, I'm not going to get too fancy here. When these lines first dropped, I actually did a 2-team teaser with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens to get up to that plus 7.5 on the Ravens. That's gone. I can't lock that in for you guys today. I just want to start and let you guys know that that's where my personal action is at. So I do have a little bit on the Kansas City Chiefs here in this spot. Watching what happened to the Texans last week and how little wee lad McConkey was able to run all over this defense as soon as they needed him to. I am just targeting a single player in this game, Jimmy. I want Xavier Worthy. The Chiefs are coming off of a break. They're going to be healthy. They've had time to, get that rapport going with the quarterback and the wide receivers. The last time they played, Xavier Worthy was able to get open, and he got 7 completed passes from Patrick Mahomes. So, Jimmy, I think he's going to be a big, big part of this game, just like he was the last time that they played. And I wouldn't be shocked if the Kansas City Chiefs put their foot a little bit more on the gas now that we are in the playoffs. So I'm going Xavier Worthy, 50+ receiving yards, minus 130. We are laddering it up. 60+ is plus 125. 70+ is plus 205. And 80+ is plus 300. So I'm going to be rooting my butt off for Xavier Worthy to dice this defense up and then get the Chiefs to cover that teaser at the minus 2.5 number.
80+ is plus 300, 70+ at plus 205. What was 60+?
60 is plus 125, and then plus minus 130 for the 50.
You are locked in. Xavier Worthy ladder for Clint McLean. We roll on. Great to see all of you guys in the chat. Thank you for supporting us here on NFL Pub Hub. Really fun following the great show, Starting 5. Thank you to Dabby and Dutch for such a great lead into our show. Nutflush Allen, Top MF in here. Trap God Rants, Penny Bombs, Zoe Faye, Nunya, AOD, Big O, Gorky. Thank you guys. Nunya, thank you for gifting the Pub Sports Radio membership. It means a ton to us, Nunya. We roll into game 2 here on Saturday. Clint, NFC Divisional Playoffs, Commanders, Lions. Take it away.
Yeah, Jimmy, this one actually has me kind of confused as far as all the games on the boards go. This is the one where I can see the most diverse results and outcomes. The Lions have had a rest. Everyone wants to think that's good for them, but this is also a team that runs through brick walls head first. I got to wonder if maybe sitting on the bench for a week might actually slow them down and break some of that momentum that they had going. They could come back stronger. They could come back healthier. Maybe they get a couple guys back on the defense. So instead of being a high-flying offense, they shut this thing down. The Commanders, it's their 3rd game on the road. Now, they've been running through people to get to the playoffs. Maybe that motivation continues. Maybe that hot streak continues. They're playing their best football right now. So maybe they come out and actually give the Lions a run for their money. Maybe they're exhausted, Jimmy. Maybe all this time traveling, all this time on the road, maybe they're completely wiped and their Cinderella story was over last week and they just get thumped here. I could see the Lions winning by 20. I could see the Commanders winning by 5. I could see this game going to overtime. Like, there's so many ways that this game in particular can play out that I'm actually kind of staying away from it. The one thing I know is that you can pass on this Lions defense, healthy or otherwise. They leave openings for the passing game. And a big part of the Commanders recently and their success has been Dyami Brown. I think he's going to hit 1 or 2 big ones, Jimmy. I'm going over Dyami Brown, 35.5 receiving yards. He can get that in one single pass. If they target him twice in this game when everybody else is covered up and there's no other options, all I need is 1 or 2 balls to get there. So I'm taking one single player prop. I'm going to get over 35.5 receiving yards for Dyami Brown, and you guys can fight over the rest. I don't know what to do with this game. I'm just going to watch and find out.
That was over 35.5 minus 110?
Minus 115.
Minus 115. Dyami Brown over 35.5 receiving yards at minus 115. I wonder, were you thinking of longest reception for Dyami Brown as well, as we know he's capable of that long one?
I considered it, but when you've got Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamal Williams on the other side of the ball, I don't want to compete with those guys for the longest reception. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it with the receiving yards because it could be, like I said, Jimmy, there's a lot of ways this one plays out. It could be dink and dunk. It could be air ball. It could be a track meet. I have no idea. I just think he's going to get 1 or 2 deep balls, and I'm hoping to get over 35.5.
No, I feel you. And I was meaning for his personal longest reception over.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I
that's
see.
what I was thinking.
Okay.
His, not,
Well,
not,
same thought process.
your angle would pay out enormously, longest reception in the game. I just meant for his longest reception. But no, but I like it. Johnny Brown over 35.5 receiving yards for Clint McLean. We roll on. Next up for us, Sunday. We head into Sunday for Rams, Eagles, Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Take it away, my man.
Jimmy, I do not believe in this Eagles team. Just straight up. I haven't the entire season. I don't believe in them now. And I really believe that they're facing more adversity now than ever. I know they just thumped the Green Bay Packers, but let's be honest, that wasn't the Green Bay Packers. Like, as much as I want to come on this show and talk shit and give crap to the Packers fans that are here talking with me every single week, they know as well as I do that that wasn't the Green Bay Packers. They don't have anybody receiving. Their quarterback was hurt. That game was over at halftime. So the Eagles getting that kind of a layup in the first round doesn't do anything for me. Jalen Hurts looked confused. Jalen Hurts looked like he was having a bit of an off day. He wasn't able to get his mojo going. He wasn't able to find his targets. They're relying on a running back to be able to win these games. And with that O-line, that is working for them. But the Rams have an underrated defense, and I think that's going to keep them in this game. I think that's going to make life hard on the Eagles. They also have incredible weapons like Puka Nacua, and I believe that the Eagles haven't really been punched in the mouth in a long time. With Jalen Hurts not being 100% theoretically, if there was ever anybody who was going to shit the bed, I think this is the favorite on the board that's going to do it this week, Jimmy. I'm going with the LA Rams plus the 6 points, and because we know if you pick the spread winner more often than not, you're picking the game winner. How can I not take that shot? I'm going Rams money line at plus 225.
Interesting. We can get you that at plus 237 on the Rams money line. You do have a decision to make, though. Plus 6.5 available at minus 110. Plus 6 is now plus 101.
I'll take the hook. I'll always take the hook.
Yeah, it's no cost, regular VIG, plus 6.5, minus 110. Rams money line at plus 237. And again, as I said with LJ, Rams defense since week 15 ranked 5th in EPA allowed per play. We roll on to the big one tonight or Sunday night, our live stream right here on Pub Sports Radio. We have back-to-back live streams. Sunday night, Ravens, Bills. Monday night, Ohio State, Notre Dame. Take it away for us, Clint. Ravens, Bills.
This is where it gets good, Jimmy. So as I told you guys from the top, I've already got a teaser in play, right? Like I've got the teaser for the Chiefs and the Ravens. So for the sake of this show, I'm just going to do the Ravens money line. I do think the Ravens outright win this game. I know the last time these two teams played, it was a Ravens blowout, and that's sitting in a lot of people's minds. I know it was a terrible scheduling spot for the Bills, but at the end of the day, Jimmy, for the current landscape of what we're seeing in the NFL, I think for my money, the Ravens are the best team in the league. I think this is your Super Bowl challenger contender from the AFC side of the bracket. We've seen Lamar shit the bed going into the playoffs multiple years in a row. This team has now built around him. They've got other veteran guys to assist him, to help him. This is the year I finally believe. I think Lamar is going to get up and over that hump this season. So I'm going Ravens money line, and I know that there's the MVP talk on the league. This is going to be a quarterback duel. I expect Lamar Jackson to come out there and put his best foot forward, and that means rushing the ball. So I'm going to take Lamar rushing yards, 50 plus, minus 140. It's a little pricey, but frankly, I think him and Allen are going to have a MVP off in this game. We're going to expect both guys to use their legs, and I think Lamar is going to have some success rushing the ball. I'm also going to go with Justice Hill receiving yards, 25 plus at minus 110, Jimmy. That's because we have limited receiving options in this backfield. Zay Flowers is going to be out and down. I know we've got the tight end combo that a lot of people are going to be going to, but frankly, Justice Hill is a really good check down option for Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to get at least 25 yards in this game. And then got to go for a score a little bit on this one, Jimmy. I'm not doing anything crazy with my, touchdown props or anything like that, but I've got Nelson Aguilar 25 plus receiving yards, and that was plus 235. With Flowers down, Lamar is going to need other options, and he spreads out the ball really well. And Aguilar is the forgotten man on this offense. He just kind of runs routes out there, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you'll forget he exists, but he'll go for 60 on one. So I really think Aguilar is going to get involved in this game. I think we're going to see an MVP caliber shootout between these two quarterbacks. I think this is going to be a back and forth barn burner, which is why I really like the teaser, frankly. If you're going to tease this game and get +7 on either side, I think that's the move. But at the end of the day, I think the Ravens win, so I'm stacking Ravens props, and I'm going to trust Lamar.
And what was the Aguilar numbers once more?
25 receiving yards at +235.
25 plus at +235. And if you have any interest in that, Giambi Brown longest reception is 18.5. 18.5 receiving yards for Giambi Brown. Let's review our guy Clint McLean's action. Xavier Worthy ladder 50 plus minus 130, 60 plus 125, 70 plus 205, and 80 plus 300. Then we have Giambi Brown over 35.5 receiving yards at minus 115. Rams plus 6.5 at minus 10. Rams money line at plus 237. Ravens minus 114. Lamar Jackson 50 plus rush yards. Justice Hill 25 plus receiving yards. Aguilar 25 plus receiving yards. At Aguilar is a plus 235. Overtime. Thank you so much for the kind words, my friend. It means a ton to me, and I'm constantly inspired by the cappers in our chat and the cappers I share the screen with. And I love the work. I'm just so thankful for the opportunity. Clint, my man, you bring so much fun to the capping community. And I'm just very excited to get you back on the show this week again. Keep up the great work with us, my friends. The Die Hard MMA podcast has its own channel, the Die Hard MMA channel. I'm a subscriber of it. Please subscribe to our friend Clint and support our friend and support him on X. Clint, my man, any last words for the cappers supporting the show?
I just appreciate you guys, Jimmy. I appreciate you for bringing me back on. I appreciate everybody in the chat. Yes, even those of you making fun of my Vikings. The future is bright in Minnesota. You guys are awesome. Get out there, win some money, have a glorious day. And hey, if you're looking for a parlay leg and you can't find somebody to tie it up to, just check out Umar at UFC 311 tonight. Good luck, everybody.
There he is, Clint McLean. I can't wait to bring on your next guest. We haven't had him here since week 14. He is our season 3 champion, and what he did last year in the playoffs was spectacular. It is so great to have him back. We go from Arizona up to Kingston, Ontario. Please welcome with me our friend Birdie Betts back in business with us. Birdie, how are you?
I'm rolling, Jimmy. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It's nice to see you. You've been missed.
You too. Happy New Year.
You've been asked about a lot, and here you are in the flesh. Take the floor, my friend. Texans, Chiefs, Arrowhead Stadium. I can't wait to hear all these takes because I don't know what your takes are, so I'm all ears. Take it away.
Yeah, I'm just going to take the points here with the Texans. The one thing we know about the Chiefs is they don't care if they win by margin. I'm getting over a score here, so it's a 2-score spread. I'm happily taking the Titans here. Their defense is for real. I was bad last week. My takes last week were bad. I went against my model, and every time I did, I lost. I just didn't expect Houston to play as well as they did defensively. They still weren't great offensively, but the one thing the Chiefs do, and I said do, is they bring the best out in teams. And I think we'll see a good effort by Houston. This spread was 3.5 earlier in the year, and now it's out to 8.5. I know Pacheco's back, and I know Hollywood Brown's back, but that can create issues in itself because this roster hasn't played many games together. So I expect the Chiefs to win this game. I don't expect them to do anything more than what they normally do, is just find a way to win. So I'll take the Texans with the points here and hope that Stroud can get under this 8.
I love it. You are locked in now. You have options though. Do you want the 9.5 at minus?
Jesus.
Yeah, plus 9.5.
Yeah, shit, yeah. Yeah, let's do it.
That's minus 113. The regular 9's minus 108. 5 cents for the 9.5.
So 113. Okay, let's go with the 9.
9. Okay, we'll get you that plus
9. Yeah.
9.
I'm losing on 10 anyway.
Plus 9 at minus 108, and that is available at a couple different books offshore. You are locked in. Plus 9.5 at minus 108. You align with Troy Torrance on this one. He's excited about that. Let's roll on here for our friend Birdie and roll into Commanders, Lions, Ford Field, Detroit, Michigan. We've already set this one up. Take it away.
Yeah, Clint kind of mentioned it. I do see a negative value in the third road game. I think we saw it with the Chargers last week. It's tough to go on the road 3 weeks in a row and compete. And we're talking two teams in totally different spots right now from a roster standpoint. We have a team in Detroit that's expected to compete for the Super Bowl, and we have a team in Washington whose season win total was 6.5. Washington has overachieved without question this year. And I think we see this situation. We've seen it in the last 2 years. So I'll just reference those. When the new coaching staff in New York, when Dayball got there, they went into Minnesota, won, and then got blown out in this game. Last year, the Texans overachieved. They beat the Browns at home, went on the road in Baltimore, got blown out. I think we probably see the same thing here. I know the middle linebacker there from Seattle. I forget his name. He's battling an ankle injury. He's big in this. Yeah, Wagner. Thank you. Sorry, I had a brain cramp.
No.
You're going to need a middle linebacker against this rush defense to be healthy and to be mobile and to be quick. I mean, it's already, even if he was fully healthy, where he's at foot speed wise is a pretty big disadvantage. And I know he's extremely intelligent. He's going to put himself in the right spot, but speed's going to matter in this game, especially at that position. And with Montgomery coming back, that really opens up that north-south running that Detroit loves to do with that up behind that offensive line. And I just, with Wagner's ankle the way it is, I know he didn't practice the first couple of days this week. I just think this is a really bad matchup for Washington at all phases. I think the Detroit offensive line is going to dominate that defensive line front of Washington. The wide receivers are going to dominate that secondary of Washington, and with Laporta and with Gibbs are really going to take advantage of that slower linebacking core in Washington. So I'm going to take the points here with the Lions. Again, I'm going against my model. Model was comfortably with Washington here, but I just think the situation kind of trumps it. So I'm going to go with the Lions at the 9.5.
Let's get that for you. Now, Wagner has been completely taken off the injury report, but he was.
Oh, I'm sure he has.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way he's not playing in this game.
But
The ankle did stop him from practicing.
It did, yes. Wednesday, Thursday. I would,
Yeah.
but I'm with you. I'm with you on this spot. And I did take a deep dive on, what happened last year with going back to the Texans spot. I did the deep dive here, and you're on the Texans. We're the biggest thing for me was that Ravens team last year was dominant. That Ravens team last year had a plus 203 points differential. This Chiefs team is a plus 79. But it is
that's
very,
right. That's right.
we
also are in year 2, right? We're in year 2 for Mayo. We're in year 2 for Stroud. These situations are still grand, but they're not what they are as a rookie. So I think year 2 with a little bit of emotional intelligence, if you will, I think Stroud can show up here, and I'm confident Houston can stay under this number this year. Whereas Washington, I'm a little bit concerned about it because the moment's going to be massive. Not that I think Daniels is going to get eaten up by the moment, but you just have two teams in two totally different spots, just roster-wise, experience-wise, and even coaching-wise. I know Quinn's been there, but their OC has got some question marks, especially in a game like this.
This line is interesting. We do have options for you. Lions minus 9.5 now plus 105. -9 is minus 101. -8.5 is minus 106.
I'll have to take the 8.5. Like I said, my model says Washington. So if my model says that, a lot of the people that move this market's models and power rankings are going to say that as well. So just FYI, if you're tailing this play, the sharp action will be on Washington, no question. But the sharp action was on Houston last year too, and the sharp action was on the Giants 2 years ago. So It's just these guys bet their numbers. So I'm gonna trump the situation over my model.
And again, teams to win. I don't think we talked about this on Tuesday, but teams to win as an underdog in the wild card round: 7-28 straight up. This is the last 20 years. 16-19 against the spread. Since 2011, those teams that won as an underdog in the wild card round, 2-20 straight up, 10-12 against the spread. We roll into Rams, Eagles, Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm all ears. Birdie, take it away.
Yeah, so I hate the Eagles. Dennis Garcia's wrecked me on them. I hate talking about them, hate thinking about them. He's just totally wrecked this team on me. I hate them because of Dennis Garcia. Saying that, the Eagles are probably winning this game, and they're probably winning this game by margin. But the one thing that the Eagles have been consistently bad at for the entirety of the year is their first quarters. And the one thing I do know about McVay is he gets his teams ready to play. Even if they don't take the ball, Eagles have shown enough propensity throughout the year where this opening drive is not automatic. As a matter of fact, they punt more than they've scored this year on the 19 game sample size. So I like the fact that this Rams money line in the first quarter is plus 160. I think this number's wrong. If you're capping out the quarters of what these teams do, I think I'm getting good value on that Rams first quarter money line. So I'm going to take the Rams first quarter at the plus 160. Now, if you want to be aggressive in this game, these uncorrelated parlays work out pretty well. So if you were to take the Rams first quarter money line, for example, and then tie that in with like Eagles first half money line plus 3.5 or plus 2.5 plus 6.5 plus 9.5, you're going to get some good plus money values. And then do the same with the first quarter with the full game for the Eagles. Again, you're going to put yourself in plus EV situations if the Eagles can win this game by margin. And if you lower your limit and just take a unit and break that off into 4 bets, you're going to be in pretty good shape at the end of this game. If I was a betting man, I probably would have that in my account as well.
Which I imagine you do. Shout out to our guy Big O with a $9.99 dono. Big O, and he's sharing all of his college basketball action here. That's just what this channel is all about, sharing.
That's
angles.
awesome.
Big O, you are a great friend of the channel, my man. Go get that guy. I also love Big O's NFL card as well today. I like it very much. This is Big O's NFL card. He has Kansas City money line, Detroit minus 2.5, Philly, LA Rams under 49.5. He's put those 3 spots together. That's given him a plus 110. Kansas City money line, Detroit minus 2.5, Philly, LA Rams under 49.5. I like that. Plus 110 for our guy Big. I get money. Not only can you fade your Canucks today, I have faded my Canucks today, and we've made a ton of money fading the Canucks over and over and over again. Rick Tocchet has ruined this good situation. So he'll be fired soon. Trades will be made. We'll start all over again, and I will wait for Rutherford in the parking lot with the ski mask on. But I don't want to put too much into that. We can get that Rams first quarter at plus 163 for you, Birdie. Rams first quarter at plus 163. Troy said Miss Birdie's action on Detroit, Washington. He's on the Lions minus 8.5 and minus 106. Let's move on to 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Baltimore Ravens at Buffalo Bills, Highmark Stadium, Orchard Park, New York. This is a very contentious situation, I thought, but we're only hearing people on the Baltimore Ravens. We've only heard Trap God on the Bills. What side are you on, my friend?
Well, I'm going to put this in a teaser. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs, going to take them down to 1.5. You can do better than that now. So just do a 7-point teaser using the Chiefs, Lions, and Bills. I got the Bills at plus 8, and that comes out to plus 130. So in regards to this game, it's a tough one, man. This is going to be a competitive game, a hell of a game. I do love these spots with the plus 3.5s on both sides and layering them if you're interested and you like gambling a little bit. I think this presents itself. I think this is a field goal game for potentially. The reason why I'm not doing this on the show is because I do think there is game states where both of these teams can win by margin. I think it's more likely for the Ravens than the Bills. But when you write this down, it's just the Bills. For me, it comes down to I think the Bills keep this close because they have Josh Allen. Whenever you have these 2 types of quarterbacks, I mean, you don't see many blowout games when you have the quality of quarterback we're going to see in this game. But I think ultimately this comes down to a big physical Ravens team versus a more athletic, smaller Bills defense. When the Bills can play teams that aren't big and physical on the offensive side up front, they can do really well and look really good, and look dominant actually at sometimes, like we saw kind of last week. But why they don't match up with this Ravens team is just Ravens are so damn physical from the offensive line, at running back, at quarterback. Now, I'm not concerned about Flowers not playing. I mean, we talk about running backs not mattering in this Ravens offense. Wide receivers don't matter, in my opinion, because they have, again, big physical tight ends that can catch the football as well. I do lean Ravens in this game, but I I'm comfortable taking the Bills up with the extra points because, as I say, I don't think anyone really gets away in this game. The other thing I'd watch in this, and if you're capping the game and you're strong or convicted on a side, both of these teams, as far as the turnover luck this year, have been enormous. At some point, regression's going to hit both of these teams, and I suspect that's going to happen in this game for one of these teams. My lean is more towards the Bills because I think if a team's going to be from behind and have to come back, it's going to be more probably Buffalo having to come back in this game, or having to score to keep up. So I would lean probably maybe an interception with Allen today because I do think he's going to have to throw the ball. And what I mean, if you look at this Ravens defense, and I think the Ravens are very live for the Super Bowl too. If you look at this Ravens defense, it's nuts what they've done. The first 10 games, most of their defensive statistical ratings were 28th or lower. So obviously they have this young rookie defensive coordinator who was struggling. So what do? They go out and hire Dean Pease. So Dean Pease, I say, is Fangio-esque, right? Been in the league at decades as a defensive coordinator, had some really good defenses. So what they were able to do is bring him in as an advisor. And then what happens? They move Humphrey right in the safety role, and they'll move Hamilton into the safety role. They get these guys moving around and playing positions where they can play free. And what have we seen is week over week, this Ravens defense has just gotten better and better and better. Now, I'm a little hesitant because the quality of opponent the last 4 or 5 games, the offenses they played haven't been the best. But I mean, all you can do is just dominate those spots, and they've done that. I think the Ravens D is a smidge underrated. And oddly enough, I was in the chat last week and I was trying to talk you out of go on Pittsburgh based on the fact that Ravens D was asked the first 10 weeks. Then when this week when I started writing and then started going back through all my notes, if you look at the day they hired Dean Pease to now, this defense has kind of went from like 30 to like 3. He's just such a massive difference, and we see this throughout the league when you have these veteran defensive coordinators that have good systems that understand where guys need to play and how to game plan week to week for these teams. It's just such a huge advantage, like we're seeing it in Philadelphia. And next year, I can't wait because we're going to see wherever that Saints coach goes and wherever the Salah goes, those defenses are going to get better. So just keep that in mind for next year. But yeah, I think the Ravens are probably the team here. I mean, I think Bills maybe have a smidge of an edge on the offensive line, but against that Ravens front, I'm not sure how much of an edge they have. And Lamar's just playing outstanding. And having Henry there this year, that's the difference, in my opinion. If we were going back a year when I was trying to talk everybody out of taking the Ravens against the Chiefs, if you had Henry in that lineup, I'd have been 100% in on the Ravens. I think this is just a different team. It's a different makeup, and it's not all on Lamar's shoulders now. And just Henry's presence allows the things that Lamar necessarily isn't great at in the passing game, just that extra 0.2, 0.3, 0.4 seconds to get comfortable and make good plays. And we're seeing it week over week. Ravens are dangerous, man. If they don't win today, I think they're probably very live to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Now that's awful, right? I picked the Bills +8, and I did nothing but talk about the Ravens.
No,
But
it's all
I
good.
just again, I don't see this game when you have these two quality quarterbacks. I don't see margin happening here. Especially, it's nice that the Ravens are going on the road too. That travel and that home field kind of hopefully keeps the Bills in this game a little bit longer. So I'm just from a mass standpoint too, it makes more sense to move the Bills up than it does to put the Ravens through 0.
I wish I had heeded your advice last year in that Ravens Chiefs spot, but I certainly didn't need it last week. I didn't want anything to do with the Steelers.
No.
I was all over the Ravens, and yeah.
And the shitty part about that too is the Ravens. So what else do we know about the Ravens? We know they can get out in the first half, dominate you, and then in the second half they give you an opportunity to come back in the game. We've seen it over and over and over and over, and they'll lose those games. And last week was the same. I mean, a little bit more luck. Pitt probably was the right side there, because the Ravens again were letting them back in the game. But I mean, ultimately, I think, as I said, Dean Pease is the difference maker on defense, and Henry's the difference maker on offense. And I think we're seeing that. And last year, I think the Pittsburgh comes back and covers that.
Was this Chiefs Lions Bills? Was that a 6-point teaser or a 7-point teaser?
7-point teaser using the Chiefs, Lions, and Bills.
Okay, so that means that's a Chiefs -2, Lions -1.5, Bills +8.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all wrong from what I sent you because these lines have moved.
What was the VIG on that?
+130.
+130. Thank you. You are in a business, Birdie. Great to have you back. We've missed you. The 7-point teaser, Chiefs -2, Lions -1.5, Bills +8. That's at +130. Rams first quarter money line at +163, and the non-correlated parlay was such an important note that he provided for you guys. And that's something that Elio, our friend Topset's been making so much money on, the non-correlated parlays, and this one fits like a glove. Then we have Lions -8.5 at -106. And we have Texans +9.5 at -108. This man in front of you is the only capper who has finished a season ahead of our next guest. The only capper who has finished ahead of our next guest. What unbelievable cappers we rock with. Birdie, thank you so much for all that you do for us. Please support Birdie on X, a great friend of mine and a great friend of the show. Please support him, as selfless as you can find in the community. Birdie, I'm going to pop your X handle here in the chat. Any last words for the cappers supporting the show?
LJ, congratulations on the album or song, whatever it is that you're dropping there. I hope it goes platinum for you, my brother. Let's get that cash today, bitches.
He's calling me a bitch. I love him. Birdie in the house. Let's bring on our next guest. It was very interesting. As you know, he coaches the Cobras, junior football team, defending champion Cobras, Jalen Petrie's ex-team. He does a phenomenal job, our next guest, in the community in raising young minds. And he wasn't available for us because he was coaching. Now, he has to leave here in about an hour to go coach. With him not in our show, his co-host in the Raw Words podcast, LJ from H-Town, dominated. Now, our next guest would have dominated with LJ. They were both on the same page on these spots. But without our guy Marley on with us, LJ goes 12-2 plus 9.57 units, and he is the first capper to be within 6 units of our leader all season long. And I can't wait to have him back in business. This man has been absolutely spectacular for us here on our show. He is 48-31 plus 15.01 units. Please welcome the star of Brothers and Bets, Marley in the house. Marley, what's good, man? How are you?
Yo, what's going down, Jimmy? H-Town, free my bro.
Marley, your co-host has climbed the ladder with your absence, and I know that wouldn't have happened had you have been here handing out the winners that you guys had capped together. But you have somebody trying to catch you now. Somebody trying to catch you. Marley, we start with your Houston Texans. I cannot wait to hear your plan of attack. Texans, Chiefs, Arrowhead Stadium. Take it away.
I just want to throw this out there. I told you we were going to beat the Chargers.
You did. And you didn't just beat the Chargers. You dominated them. You dominated them.
Talk about today. Can we beat the Chiefs? We got a chance. Small chance. I wouldn't put my money on the money line. Jimmy, look, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. I'm on the Texans first half +6. These starters haven't played since Christmas. Think it might be a little bit of rust. Might take a drive, might take 2 to get things going. And we got one of the best defenses that's left in the playoffs, really, in the NFL. Our pass rush is phenomenal. We couldn't quite get there in last game. The short passing game was killing us, and Mahomes is magical at escaping the pass rush and getting the ball out. We all know that. Shire didn't play that last game either, and he is a big part of what we do defensively, and he's fast enough to catch some of those backs coming out the backfield, and I think he can. Nobody can stop Kelsey, right? But if you put a linebacker on him, I think he's good enough to stick with him at this point in Kelsey's career. Do we win this game? I don't know. Probably not, and that's coming from diehard Texan fan. But I think we cover the full game. The Chiefs, they're not a big cover team. They don't care how they win as long as they win. The cold is not going to scare us like it did Miami and Tua in those games. And guys, and if CJ doesn't turn the ball over, he had 2 interceptions in the last game, and the game was still 19-27. We settled for a bunch of field goals. So I think we can get, if we turn Mahomes over, we have a chance. I think we stay within the number, but like I said, for betting purposes, I'm on the Texans first half +6. That's been getting me paid all season. I think the fact that they haven't played since Christmas, the starters, I think that's going to be big. I think it may take a drive. It may take 2 with that defense. So I think that gives us a chance off the back and come in the game. Mixon being a little nicked up is a little bit concerning because he hurt his ankle in practice this week. And he's listed as questionable, but obviously it's the playoffs. He's gonna give it a go. And like I said, the defense looked dominant. I mean, the Chargers aren't KC, right? But we held them to 4.8 yards per play the entire game. So if that defense can show up in Kansas City and we can just limit them to a touchdown and a field goal, we can hold them to 10 points in the first half. I think we can at least get a field goal, if not a touchdown on our own. And I think we can turn them over. Stingley and the secondary, even though Petrie's been hurt, we've been playing good. The pass rush is good. I think we can turn Patrick over. Like I said, do a little bit of rust. Do we win? Probably not. Can we cover the 8.5? I think so. But I like first half +6. I think it's tight early because I just think they're going to be a bit rusty. And even the guys that are coming back that from injury, like the cornerback, I can't think of his name right now. He might be a little bit rusty. Opposite of McDuffie. McCants. The cornerback, bro. He's been out for like 6 weeks, I think.
But he's not. You're talking about Jalen Watson?
Yeah, Watson.
He isn't even being. They've just opened up his practice window. Like he's not even confirmed. If he's in, is he going to play more than 30% of the plays? I don't know. I wouldn't put too much into Watson coming back, but
yeah.
Interesting. Oh, and can you do me a favor? Your mic is more expensive than all of our mics. You have more. Can you just lower it an inch, not something like that, because it's picking up a little too much. It's very expensive. You have very expensive equipment, and it just picks it up too much. Okay, so we have an interesting situation because LJ gave us Texans first half. This line's moving quickly towards the Chiefs. Texans first half now +6 is +104. +6.5 is -105. What would you prefer?
Give me the 6.
6. Okay. +6 at +104 for our guy LJ. First half +6 at +104. You are, for our guy Marley. Texans first half +6 +104. And again, we just gave that out. We just gave that out for LJ, who opened our show, and LJ got the +6 at -105. So that's moved 9 cents in the hour since LJ rocked with us. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. Here is the next game. All our cappers are talking about all 4 games. So let's take it away. Marley, my man. Commanders, Lions, floor is yours.
Yeah, man, like everybody else, this kind of the one game that can result in a bunch of different ways. I can see Lions completely blowing out the Commanders. I can also see the Commanders making it a game. The only thing I can't see is like the Commanders blowing out the Lions. I don't think that happens. If anybody watched the show yesterday, I gave out the Commanders, but I got a 10. And to me, that number was solid because they haven't lost by more than 10 points. The Commanders haven't lost a game by more than 10 points since week 1. So I was kind of real. I don't want to say dependent upon that. And the reason I liked the Commanders and still like the Commanders plus the 10 is the Lions defense. I don't know how good the Lions defense really is, Jimmy, and particularly against the run, right? They're holding teams less than 100. When you see it on the numbers, you're like, oh, it must be a good run defense. They're holding teams less than 100 points, but I don't know if that is a result of the Lions having a good defense, or is that a result of the Lions being up by so much early because of the passing game that teams just abandoned the run. They're not running the ball anymore. So, therefore, by the end of the game, the total number of rushing yards and attempts are low. So that part kind of concerns me. And what we do know is you can throw on them. So I don't know how good that defense is by the numbers. And that's why I took the 10 points. And that's what scares me about this. I know I heard Birdie and the stats about rookie quarterbacks in the second round and what happened with the Texans and this, that, and the other. And the difference is, though, the team they play, you brought this up too, like the Ravens were a powerhouse. You know what I mean? Like the defense was unquestionable, was solid. They were stuffing people. The Seattle head coach got the job based off that defense that he had that year. So I don't know if I see that with the Lions necessarily. So I like the 10 there. 9.5, 9s. I think I saw some 8.5s. That number was kind of key to me, so I don't want to give the 9.5. What I do like, though, opposite of that, and this is going to sound weird, but it kind of is what it is. I like the first half Lions minus the 6, though, because I do believe in the Lions offense. I do believe in the power of energy. Like that stadium sounds like a college campus, a college game. Like they're going nuts. And one thing I do know for sure, the Lions are going to be able to run the ball against this Washington defensive line. Montgomery's coming back. You got Gibbs, Sonic and Knuckles, as they call themselves, whatever. They're going to be able to run the ball in a style of defense that the Commanders play. Since they signed Lattimore, they've been running a lot of man coverage. Well, Jared Goff is one of the best quarterbacks against man coverage, and he has tons of fucking weapons on the outside, with 2 wide receivers in Williams and Amon-Ra. You got Porter, the tight end, Gibbs coming out of the backfield. Like that's their offense is. I don't think Washington is going to be able to stop them. Hopefully, they can slow them down at best. It's going to have to probably be a shootout in my estimation. And the only thing that stops me from going all in on the Lions is like I'm not sure about that defense. I don't know if they can if they can't stop the run. It's going to be a close game than everyone expected. So I like them coming out early. Maybe Daniels is a little rattled by the crowd, so I'll take the -6 because you probably can't find me a 10 for what I want. So I'm cool with a -6 on the first half, but I wouldn't take the 9 for the full game.
You are locked in with the -6 and -109. That's the same number that LJ got. Interestingly enough, though, there's been a massive move towards the Commanders' full game.
Yeah, I bet.
This just happened. So full game, you could get the Detroit Lions right now full game -8 at -108.
See, I would take that. I would take the Lions -8.
You can have it.
I like the 6. I like the 6.
Okay. Lions first half -6 at -109. We roll on. Next up for us is the Rams Eagles, Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Take it away, my friend. The floor is yours.
Yeah, man. I like Philly, man. And look, Jimmy, the weather is gonna make this a running type of game. It's gonna probably, I don't want to say completely eliminate the pass, but if you're getting wind along with snow or rain, it's gonna make it harder to throw. It's just what it is. It's gonna make it a little bit harder to throw the ball. And what team has the better rushing attack? Who you gonna pin? And I like what Kyron Williams, I think it is.
Yeah,
I like Kyron Williams and I like what they do, but Eagles are the number 2, and we're talking about behind the Ravens, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, number 2 rushing attack. Saquon rushed for 250 yards, 55 yards against his team the last time. So yeah, maybe he doesn't rush for 255. He can't get a buck 20. They can't dominate the run game. It's going to be, in my opinion, when you take away the passing game for the Rams, you take away some of the creativity of McVay and his scheme and ability to get guys open against what, at the end of the day, we're talking about the number 1 ranked defense in the NFL. So I just think the task that the Rams have to overcome versus what Philly has to overcome is just, the Rams are outmatched, in my opinion. The edge, yes, I give McVay over Sirianni, of course. And if you want to say Stafford is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts, okay, we'll give it. All right, he throws the ball better. True, different styles, but okay. Outside of that, I check every box for the Eagles, and then you complicate things with snow, possibly rain, and I just think this team is destined to. I mean, not destined, just stylistically with this weather. I know the Rams play excellent defense, but they're young. And are we gonna bank everything off one game or versus a season of work that they showed us? Yes, they've gotten better toward the end of the season, but Eagles offensive line, that rushing attack, Goddard's back, the weapons that Jalen Hurts does. And you don't need Jalen Hurts to have a Joe Burrow game. Like, he just has to have a good game. He has A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Goddard. I mean, he has all the weapons. It's not like even they don't need him to drop back and throw 30 plus times a game, 3 touchdowns in the air. Like, they just need him to be competent at the end of the day. And they got so many weapons, and I'm not betting against Saquon right now. The guy ran for 255 yards. And it's not like, what are they going to do different? Stuff the box? I am sure they stuffed the box. at some point in the 255, they stuffed the box. So I'm on Philly minus the 6. Yeah, weather could make it close. So if you can, 6 may be too much. I just think, and another thing, the Philly holds the ball so long in their offense. I think they're number 2 in time of possession. They just limit you offensively. So when the Rams are on the field, which McVay and the Rams, they start slow. They tend to start very slow. So if I was a Rams backer, honestly, if I would take them second half to come back and make it a game, that might be a good play. But I like Philly here minus the 6. I just think they're going to run the ball down their throats again, and it won't be close with that. They beat them by double digits just a few weeks ago, 5-6 weeks ago. It was 37-20. If I'm not mistaken, something like that.
That's exactly
was the
right.
score. Yeah, we've seen this movie. Sequels are never as good as the first one, but
314 yards rushing the Eagles racked up. Don't you feel like Sirianni is at a disadvantage against McVay? McVay should be able to dial something up. This Rams defense ranked 5th in EPA allowed since week 15.
Yeah, I definitely give a coaching edge to McVay, but to me, I feel like that weather too is gonna definitely play a role in what he's gonna be able to dial up. And I like Philly's defense. Puka's banged up. Like, he limps off. He's gonna get hurt at some point in the game and limp off. Maybe he'll come back, maybe he won't. But if you take Puka away, who else scares you? I don't think Kupp scares us like he used to scare us. I think he's on the other side. Again, I agree with McVay over Sirianni, but if Stafford and Puka is on the sideline, what are they going to do?
No, I completely understand the breakdown. It fits into with Troy Torrance is bullish on the Eagles. Same with Birdie. Eagles -6 and -114 for our guy Marley. One more game before we head down to Costa Rica for our next guest. Baltimore Ravens, Buffalo Bills. This is the big one. Well, they're all so big, but this is our Sunday night live stream here. Marley, take it away.
Yeah, man, I know everybody's been on the Ravens, and I'm not going to tell you anything different, Jimmy. I'm bullish on the Ravens. Me and LJ talked about this last night, and we both share the same opinion. I think this is the Ravens' year, or at least I want it to be. I think the combination of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, and I think it's just a bad matchup for the Bills from a defensive standpoint. I haven't heard many cappers talk about it. Birdie mentioned it up, but the chat's been talking about it a lot. The Buffalo Bills defense is small. They're small up front. The linebackers are small. I think they like to run a nickel or five defensive back majority of the game. And the Ravens go get them up out of that shit, or at least they better get up out of that shit. If they do half of what they did to Pittsburgh, and in my opinion, Pittsburgh's a much better run stop defense than what Buffalo puts on the field. And they were bringing in extra linemen and extra tight ends and shit last week. So if they do that, I just think they're going to bully Buffalo's defense, and I think they're going to keep Josh Allen's ass on the sideline. And I think that's going to be the game plan. Superman can't be Superman if Superman ain't playing. And I think that's going to be the key. And I think they're built for the cold or for the snow because they don't care about throwing the ball. And I'm with Birdie. Birdie said, Zay Flowers is questionable. And Birdie's response was, the Ravens, they say running backs don't matter in the NFL. Or the Ravens, like receivers don't matter. I'm not saying they don't matter, but they matter a lot less in any other team versus this team. I think the Bills are going to get a heavy dose of Derrick Henry, and I think that's the key to the Ravens' success in winning the ball. You've seen when he touches the ball 26 more times, I don't know the exact numbers, but their record is well above winning versus. I think they're like 12-5 or some shit like that. I'm not exactly 100% sure, but the key number is like 20, if it's not 20, 22. With all that said, the defense has been playing so much better since they made the adjustments, especially moving Hamilton to safety. So will they stop Josh Allen's offense completely? Probably not, but I think they'll have much more success defensively than Buffalo will have in stopping the Ravens offense. And I think they're going to be on the field. I think they're going to be on the field a lot because I think they're just going to run the ball. And I think that's the plan. I'm going to assume that they learned their lesson from last year in the playoffs by not running the ball. And I think the weather is going to make them run the ball. It's going to be cold. I think is it supposed to snow?
Right now it says snow showers. It also says 20% precipitation. We had snow showers last week and it was gorgeous.
Right. So, all right. Well, that remains to be seen. But I think just the biggest takeaway for me is that the defense is small. They like to play in the nickel more than they do in a 7 or 8 man front. And the Ravens are going to make them either do that. They're going to make them do that, which is something they don't do often. And I think they're just going to have hell trying to stop the run game, which is going to keep Josh Allen off the field. I think it's going to be limited in the possessions that he does have offensively, and I think it's going to be real hard for them to get in the rhythm. So I don't think we get the shootout that a lot of people do think, or the offensive battle, or the Lamar versus Allen battle. I don't think that's what we get. I think we get an old school slug it out because the Ravens are going to just dirty up the game, and that's the way to win.
You are locked in. Our leader in NFL Pub 48-31 plus 15.01 units. Only one capper has been ahead of Marley over 2 years of NFL Pub. What a monster. Marley on Texans first half +6 at +104. Lions first half -6 at -109. Eagles -6 at -114. And Ravens money line at -114. Before you go, Marley, my man, tell us about Brothers and Bets and the Raw Words podcast as well.
Yeah, man. Me and LJ did the NFL show yesterday. We do it every Friday, about 6-7 o'clock. Man, we only got 2 shows left. Championship weekend and Super Bowl. So we got 2 more shows left. Me and Coach about to get started on in college basketball, and we do NBA down the road. So, but everything will be on Brothers and Bets. You can always catch me at Marley_Bets.
I love it. Our guy Marley in the house. Marley, thank you for everything. Any last words here on Pop Your X and on the chat? Any last words for the Capper Sporting Show?
Oh man, y'all already know what it is. Let's beat Vegas.
There he is, our guy Marley in the house. Here's his X handle. Please support our guy Marley. We go from Houston south to Costa Rica for our next guest. Love capping with this man. Thank you for making time with us. Please welcome Flash Gordon to the show from BetUS. Flash, my man, how are you?
Aggressive. I'm aggressive, James, because I've listened to too much information like this. My head's going to like a washing machine. Love Birdie, but I've listened to some drivel. So let's bring it on. I'm coming for people who just say the wrong things. Come on.
Well, let's hear the right things, Flash. Texans, Chiefs, get us started.
Well, this is another one. The Chiefs. This is a different Chiefs than we see all season, year in, year out. You think I'm getting in the way of these in the postseason? No, sir. We said the same last year about the Chiefs. Oh, they lost 4 games in the first 7, and then they come out. No, they cover 9-1 on the spread. They come out first half, and they come out fast. Spags against Stroud. I wouldn't have Houston if they were playing the New York Jets with Stroud. You cannot rely on him. He's burnt me too many times. I think he gets sacked 6 or 7 times. And I think the Chiefs, my bet is the Chiefs put up over 13.5 in the first half.
Chiefs team total first half over 13.5. I will find the best or lowest VIG associated with the Chiefs first half team total over for Flash. That's your only spot in this one?
Yes.
We roll on. Tell us your thoughts on Commanders, Lions, NFC Divisional playoffs, 8 p.m. Eastern this evening. Take it away.
Well, as everyone knows, I'm on the Eagles, so I'm desperate for the Commanders to win. But obviously, really got to be realistic. And the Detroit Lions are going to run the ball all day because the Commanders couldn't stop me, you, or Birdie in the backfield. So I'm going to go with my bet's going to be under 27.5 first half. Okay, I'm expecting both of these coaches are degens. They have to gamble 4th and 2, 4th and 3. I think that we may get some drives that are on the 25, 30-yard line, 4th and 1, 4th and 2, and they don't take the free. If they take the free, great to my under. But I think we might see some drives stall, in which case you ain't getting over 28 points beats me. And this is 27.5 in the first half. And also, he's dangerous, the young boy Daniels. So again, it's going to be all Gibbs, all Montgomery. It's going to be dinking, dunking. Don't give the ball to them. I don't even think that they probably have 3 or 4 possessions. So the big number is 27.5. I've gone with Jameson Williams. Anytime. He's my only anytime touchdown for this show. I think he can get in because he can get in when it's down inside the red zone, but he can also break a tackle from 35, 45 yards in. I want the Commanders to win. I have also done a teaser on all 4 of the home sides getting taking away the 6, and apart from the M1, they're getting 6. So yeah, under 27.5 for the Lions. I want the Commanders to win. Can't see it happening. I certainly can't see 28 points first half.
Under 27.5, first half under 27.5. That's available -110 right now for Flash. Jameson Williams, anytime touchdown, +128 for Flash. Zoe Faye liking everything that Flash is delivering. Let's move on to Sunday action, Flash.
Here we go. Come on, the boys. Eagles, we were on them from the last week of July to win the NFC from 650 to 615. 6 or 7 times we've bet them. And we have to just get through this game, and then we'll bet the Commanders or the Lions next week. Right, where do you want me to start? The best matchup prior to, obviously, the weather and everything else was the Rams. I didn't want the Rams. I wanted the Bucs because Bucs was my savior in the NFC. But you give it like 6 points. Okay, now let me just tell you about the drivel from the Vikings #1 fan. Okay, the Eagles are the #1 sided NFL in the second half. They are the best at coming from a deficit. They are the worst team in the first half. The under or over for the first half is 21.5. When these two last met, it was 7-6 at halftime, and then they just blew them away. The Eagles blow everybody away because they take their last reserves in the third quarter, and then in the fourth quarter, they just run them into the ground. They're a 4-quarter team who only get better. They've got the #1 D. They've got the #1 running back. They've got take away Saquon. Gainwell comes in and spreads out teams. And then we've got just out to the side, Devontae Smith. Down the seam, Goddard, who's now back, and A.J. Brown. He might as well be reading books as he catches it for touchdowns. It's all about the Eagles. Eagles win. I don't need to go near any money lines or anything, but for the purpose of the show, under 21.5, first half. And if the Eagles are up 14-6, then so be it.
First half under here for Flash. I'm with you. I got the plus 600 on the NFC too.
I know you did.
It was plus 900 the week before. I said on the show I'm going to go bet it, and I don't know what happened. And then I was like, oh, what have I done? But 600, whatever, we'll take it. Bet a little more on it.
And what will you do, Jake? Just a quick question, because I know that a lot of people did go on and on and on, and I don't do that. During the season, because I have such big futures on the Eagles, I found that it sort of interrupted my individual week of playing games, because obviously the Eagles were like one of the best sides and were winning week in, week out. They were covering, but I let them that extra money go by because I was only looking at the end game.
I've had that problem for a few years. I was saying it out loud all the time on my shows that it's affecting me. It's affecting me. So I don't think we can actually let it not affect us.
Yes.
What I've done though is I've made less. I've been trying to cut my futures out because it just the last 6 weeks to 2 months to 6 weeks of a season in all these professional sports is when I'm at my absolute best because of motivation situations. And when I've got futures messing with me, it's hurting me. So
that's great information for everyone else in the chat as well as me asking for that advice, because I just went NFC, Eagles, here you go, here's a lump at 650, 615, 600. But I also then had just like 150 on the Bucks at 20-1. Because I thought they would, and then if you get the Bucks and the Eagles, you're sitting there smoking 2 cigars. So again, but the Eagles just to win the game for me, I'm going to be happy. Obviously, I may lose some money if the Lions lose, but I'm going to make a lot of money next week if it's the Eagles versus the Commanders.
Oh yes, I can't wait. I will be right with you deciding how we want to move next week.
Well, it'll be a +6. They'll be -6 again. No dangers, because if it weren't for Jalen Hurts, they would have beaten 25 just 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Now we have a bit of an issue. I know that you got this first half under 21.5 early. As we know, this line's being dropped. This total's been dropping. The 21.5 still available, of course, but it's -135. The 21's -120. Jeez. How would you want to handle that?
Well, I mean, again, it doesn't matter to me because obviously it's already in my pocket. It's how everyone else wants to do it. And obviously they're going to take advice. They can then take the 21.5 like I did at -135, or they can go with the 21 potential. I don't see 21. Listen, I think the Eagles come out here. But again, with all the weather, it's run. You're gambling if you're throwing it. So I'm thinking field goals. Even if we get 4 field goals on a touchdown, you're only 19. So go with 21 then.
I love it. Let's roll on. Final spot on the board here. Ravens, Bills. You look like you're ready to fire. Fire, my friend.
I am firing fire because how many times do you boys want to jump off the cliff with the Ravens? They're the opposite to the Chiefs all season long. They're the best to get the MVP. And then they cry. He goes for a shit. He ain't worth anything. And now you're going to go and tell me that he's going into the Bills and be a favorite? Right. So we'll give 1.5, 2 point for the Bills as a home advantage. So if you're telling me that if this was the Ravens versus the Bills, then the Bills would be +3, +3.5. Then we'd all be sitting there saying we've got to take the Bills at +3.5. But now they're at home, and this is a different side who met the Ravens in week 4. 7 starters were out in that game. And also, this is another one no one's mentioned. You know, the Bills have had more touchdown scorers, more different individuals than any other team in the NFL. And we know the Ravens have problems in 1v1 matchups. Come on now. I can't sit here and say to you, I'm going to be on the Ravens. They've been so good. Chokey chokes. His name is Chokey for a reason. He does it. You all jump off a cliff with him every single year. I'm not doing it. I've never done it. Won't start now. And he's on the road against potential Super Bowl champions and deservedly MVP.
I did not know that Chokey was his nickname. I'm learning here as we go. We can give you plus money now. Plus 105. Plus 105.
It's been dancing between plus 105, minus 105. I don't care. I mean, listen, they could be minus 750 for all I care. I just want to see the Bills win, and Chokey does what Chokey does. And all you people through the season who think, oh, this is the Ravens' year, you just have that on copy and paste. They're the opposite to the Chiefs. The Chiefs, they dance all the way through the season, and then they step up about 9 gears. The Ravens, they go flat out, and then on the last lap, they fall in a heap, and they don't even get on the podium.
Flash, I love it. Let's review Flash's action here. I love capping with this gentleman. We have Flash on the Chiefs first half team total over 13.5 at minus 111. All of these lines are available as we speak. He's on the first half under 27.5 at minus 110 in Commanders Lions, and Jameson Williams anytime touchdown at plus 128. He's on the first half under 21.5 at minus 130. Now he's got a better number than this. We're just giving the numbers that are available right now. Minus 135 for Rams, Eagles, and Bills plus 105 for our guy Flash. Flash, thank you for joining us from BetUS. We know your incredible skills, not only as a former Premier League soccer player, but also as a soccer capper, football capper. When can our cappers in the chat get more of your action? When and where, my friend?
BetUS TV. On Monday, we have the Champions League. I'll have a free team parlay for you. They're all around minus 200, minus 190, but it comes out at plus 186. Cannot see all three of them, any of the three of them getting beat. They all need to win because we've only got a week to go after this week for us to go into the knockout round. And then you want me to say something to all the cappers and everything?
Yes, I do.
Make sure you subscribe to Clint's MMA.
There he is, our guy, Flash. I was watching Flash in the background before he came on, walking around his apartment, and I could see Costa Rica in the background, or his house, I should say, his beautiful house. I was watching in the background, and I was like, was that my life once? I actually lived like that once. Shout out to our guy, Flash, joining us from BetUS, a great friend of myself and great friend of the channel. We roll on our next guest, 12-13, but he's plus 2.95 units. He came on our wild card show last week. He went 3-3, but plus 4.75 units. This man gave out Derrick Henry over 149.5 rush yards at plus 550. Henry ran for, I think, 186 yards. 12-13 plus 2.95 units. He is the star of the Morning Steam show on the Sports Money YouTube channel. Another great friend of ours and of mine. Please welcome Ramon Scott to the program. Ramon, how are you?
Hey, Jimmy, thanks for having me. It's going to be a great weekend, including our college game on Monday night. So really excited to get things going here with the action today. And maybe we could follow it up next week. I'm up here in the standings, so maybe a little game theory here going up against these great cappers. But we got some widely available stuff here for you as well.
I'm excited to hear your plan of attack. We start with Texans Chiefs. This game pops off in 2 hours and 45 minutes. We're almost to playoff football. And Ramon, let me just also say your work last week was very sharp and very fun. The plus 550 is the biggest line to cash this year on the show. Great work. What do you have in store for us this week? Texans Chiefs.
We even hit it bigger last week, ramping it up over there with our friends, laddering it up. But let's get it rolling here with the Chiefs game first off against the Texans. Remember, they played a great game. Remember the game, the overtime game last year. But still, I think we're, not giving the Texans quite enough credit. Now, I think the Chiefs may go on and dump them here, but I think the Texans can still think they're on pace as far as their program is concerned. We can kind of chalk up the sophomore jinx maybe to Stroud, but I think they've shown out pretty good, finishing with a strong record and earning that home game last week to beat my Chargers there. But I had them, Jimmy. I had the Texans, but here I think against the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs will be 24 days off, a pretty good situation coming in, and I think what we'll see today, just kind of banking it off that last matchup these two had in the postseason, would be Mahomes just trying to get back to what works for him a little bit. The funny thing about the Chiefs and Mahomes this year, as effective as they are, as solid as they are, yeah, they haven't covered a lot of numbers. If anything, they're maybe too conservative in their passing game, right? You look at the yards per attempt and everything, it trails all those guys by far, all the best quarterbacks, it seems like, this season. And that's why you don't have Mahomes in the MVP talk or anything like that. But I think it goes back to his safety blanket here a little bit with Travis Kelce today, Jimmy. Look, he still finished as the Chiefs' top receiver this season, despite the ins and outs of all the weapons that they have and how they've managed them. Look, Xavier Worthy, you'd think he's supposed to be the deep ball, the deep threat, and they've kind of used him in a conservative role, trying to get the ball to him, in shorter space and letting him maneuver, and it really hasn't worked out, even though Worthy has picked it up here towards the end of the year. But I just have Mahomes getting back to what works, and if the Texans are going to be tough against the Chiefs with that defense today, it'll end up being more Mahomes here, more Mahomes to Kelce here. And I wanted to look at his receptions possibly, but like I said, a little game theory, Jimmy, if it's okay, I still got to bet on these. We're not just throwing out picks here, so I have to pick. I'm trying to pick some good aggressive spots to play with the game a little bit here on the Pub Hub, but also maybe strike with some cash for me today. So I'm going to end up going over 69.5 receiving yards for Kelce at plus 210. He's had 70 plus receiving yards in 13 straight playoff games. There's no doubt his production is down. Apparently he's had some things going off the field. I'm not sure what's going on, but he's been a little bit busy socially. So look, it's the playoffs now. This is Kelce time as far as I'm concerned, Jimmy. And maybe the Chiefs have been involved in the short game here, and it may take close to 8 receptions maybe to get Kelce that, unless he, gets one open a little bit and gets some big yardage on a play. He's still going to need multiple receptions here. I think he's going to get used heavily in this game against the Texans, getting back to what works for Kansas City now that they were in the postseason. I think we'll see more of that Chiefs superstardom with their top combo.
I love it. Kelce over 69.5 receiving yards at plus 210 for Ramon, going for a big score off Travis Kelce. And as you guys know, I did cash the Kelce under 108 or under 850.5 receiving yards this year, just because really he didn't play in that last game. He was 21 yards away from cashing. So I was very, very thankful. Let's roll on. Let's roll on, my man. Next up, Commanders, Detroit Lions. Ramon, take it away. Ford Field calling us tonight. Take it away.
All right. Well, I'm getting a little bit sentimental here in this one. I've talked about him a little bit, I think, on a show or two here, but my favorite player in the league this season plays for the Detroit Lions. Jimmy, I was covering this young man. I say young man, he's 31 years old now, but I followed him when he was a junior college standout. This man went to junior college, played football for 2 years before going to the University of Utah. So for all of Marley's young players, take what you got, take what you can get out there and earn your chance, because you can end up like Tim Patrick and be a star in the NFL. I say star, you're playing in the NFL. I think you're a star, and he's overcome 2 knee injuries in back-to-back seasons. Remember, he had a great season in 2021 and basically got injured for 2 straight years, had his moment of the season here, maybe of his career, with that 2-touchdown game. And I might have him today. Maybe he could get that career moment for my guy, Tim Patrick. Jim, you got Goff against that that man-to-man, that man defense of Washington. I still have a legitimate number 3 here with Patrick in a super high total going into this game. So if I've got a solid number 3 in a game that's supposed to have the most points scored of the weekend, I'm going to ramp up on TP. He has maybe disappeared over these last few weeks, but I like him as certainly as a number 3 option over these other guys in that rotation. Yeah, St. Brown's looking great. They're looking good with Williams, but Patrick has made big plays, and this is a big game. So I'm going to go with my guy, Tim Patrick, over 39.5 receiving yards at plus 420. That is a big total for TP, but a great payoff. So if I can, Jim, I'm going to play my guy here. It might be the last. He's not going to be, I don't think he's going to be on the Lions next year if he's still in the league. He probably has the talent. He's getting old. He's had these injuries. Might be my last chance. I'm going to bet on Tim Patrick today, Jimmy, over 39.5 receiving yards. Go TP.
Tim Patrick over 39.5 at plus 420. Donut Silks says plus 420. He's in. Isn't Tim Patrick the perfect Dan Campbell football player? You have a guy full of character, coming off a major injury, left for dead by the rest of the NFL, and known as this year the single best blocking wide receiver in the NFL. I love him too. I'm a huge.
I was going to bring you my pictures that I took of him over 10 years ago. I shot some nice photos of him. I should have done that.
I love him. I love him. Hopefully we'll be able to do that next week when Patrick is still playing. But I do love him just like you. I really think he's everything you like in a football player. Let's roll on to Sunday, Ramon, my man. NFC Divisional Playoffs, Rams, Eagles, Lincoln Financial Field. Take it away.
All right. Well, I've kind of designed this segment to kind of ramp up the odds in each one. Maybe I'm riding high off like I said, Jim, not only did we hit that one on the air, I did play a 22-1 shot that did hit last week. So on that Henry stuff. So I'm kind of house money in it here, but let's go to the Eagles game today. And yeah, it could be cold, could be bitter and brutal here, but I'm still going to ride with the top 2 receiving stars of the Eagles here with Brown and Smith to have a big game in this matchup. I think the matchup really does favor them to have a strong game here with the Rams coming in. Look, it's a great defensive performance last week, but I think the situation was kind of tailor-made. Even if I did whiff a little bit seeing that one, once you saw it, right, it was hard not to see it from the first quarter on. It was just a perfect situation for the Rams here, and I think it will be different today. Look, it's a good young defense. They really, if any defense got better week after week, it felt like the Rams and their young stars defensively, but I feel a little bit of destiny here, a little bit, at least with the Eagles, to get to the championship game in this one. And I'm going to roll with these top receiving stars here. No doubt you want to control the game a little bit with Barkley, but I'm going to give the Rams a chance here to get into a little bit of a shootout. If they don't, it could be trouble. So let's give them a little bit of credit. And I'm going to think the Eagles will need some yardage here. And I'm going to ride with Brown and Smith and Brown. I think Brown's the number 1, you know that. But look, Brown, 6 games this year, he's had over 95 yards. And look at the teams he had him against, playoff teams: Washington, Pittsburgh, Rams, Green Bay. He had 95 yards or more in those 4 games, also in 6 games, and he had 89 yards or more in 8 games total. So I'm ramping him up with Devontae. Devontae's gone over 50 yards in his last 4 games that he's played in a row, a significant minutes here. So I'm going to combine them up. I'm going to need 200 yards from these guys. So I do need probably one of them to go well over. That might be Brown. And this one is at 6-1, Jim. I'm taking them over 199.5 combined receiving yards for Smith and Brown. I'm going to need that shootout probably for this to happen. If they get control, if they're running the running game, they'll certainly be trying that early on. I feel that to be the case, but I still want to give a big credit to the Rams passing game and everything they did in that game last week too. So let's go over 199.5 combined receiving yards with Brown and Smith at 6-1.
Locked and loaded, Ramon. Plus 600 banger with Smith and Brown combined for 199.5. Now, Ramon, we reach our Sunday night live stream. We'd love for you to join us here. So much fun on these live streams. There is so much on the line. We just heard Ravens, 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 Ravens until Flash put a stop sign up and backed the Bills heavily and came up with Chokey as the new nickname for Lamar Jackson, who's been simply spectacular this year. Chokey. What do you think, Ramon? Ravens, Bills, floor's yours.
Well, Jim, I guess if I needed full transparency, I did go with the Bills in our confidence pool, but probably for the lowest available number that I have left. Obviously, it's a close game, so maybe I am going with Flash a little bit. But what I see, Jim, is and look, I agree with. I guess I don't agree, but everyone talking about the running game, talking about Derrick Henry, I guess I'm leading the charge, right? When it comes to what Henry can do, what he's done. It's not the first time we've been on Derrick Henry last week. Come on. But I got to include him somehow this week. I've got to try to bank on this a little bit. And it was a good mojo too. So, but I actually think James Cook, I think Cook here, Jim, could outgain Henry here in this game. I think he's totally being overlooked in this matchup here. Now, granted, the Ravens, I've got them probably top 5, probably top 3 rushing defenses here, but it's going to be some conditions here, whether or not it's got any snow showers, snow flurries, snow on the ground, whatever the case may be. We're talking about a typical Buffalo day, I guess, at this time of year. So how will the teams approach it? I think may just lend to at first maybe a grind it out, but I think as long as the conditions are fine enough, look, snow is not a problem, even if it's a little flurry or full shower for the passing games. And I just think it opens up completely. I don't know, with all due respect to what I heard from, I think Marley was talking it up with the defense a little bit, but I don't see it that way, Jim. I've got this one as this one may be this might be an all-timer. I really feel like this was going to be so wild. Both teams maybe well into the 30s here, points-wise. I've got this one as a super shootout, and I think it will be both running and passing. So I'm bundling the running backs up with the superstar quarterbacks. This is a tough one. You got to go to places far away, if you know what I mean here on the on our chat. But I'm going to go with Derrick Henry, James Cook, Lamar Jackson, and Allen combined rushing yards over 349.5 and over 2.5 receiving and rushing touchdowns. So Henry and Cook, if they could, they might get a receiving touchdown. It's mostly going to be rushing touchdowns. But look, you got Cook, 120 yards rushing versus Denver, 100 yards versus New England, 105 versus Detroit, 107 versus San Francisco. Two of them playoff teams. Obviously, San Francisco is still pretty decent. Touchdowns in 13 games overall for Cook. Henry averaging 150 yards down the stretch here. We know that. Allen's getting his TDs, certainly, and his yardage are off the charts. He's good for a TD pretty much every game right now in the second half of the season. I think he finished with 12 touchdowns this year. And Jackson, mostly for his yards. He really doesn't get in the end zone too much, but we've seen him here about 70-yard average down the stretch. So I'm packaging these guys all up, Jim. I've got 4 guys. They need to go over basically 350 yards and 3 touchdowns is what you need to cash. 675 in this one, Jim. So you're going to have to bet these, so I'm trying to go as conservative as I can without just burning through some of the money last week, but I want to hit these guys, and I want to catch those guys in the standings too, and I think that's the vision I see for this game here. I've got this one. I think we'll be blown away. It might be an easy prediction, actually, but, I think they were talking defense. Look, I agree. Buffalo's defense done a great job, but here, I think we're getting a wild, crazy, awesome game on the second game on Sunday. Why not with the Bills and the Ravens? I've got it as an all-time classic, and hopefully I'll be hitting a 675 here. Let's roll.
You are locked in. A very interesting spot here. Was this in an American book that you found this one at, or was it offshore?
Yeah. Far away places. Can I say that? I guess I can say offshore. Can I say that?
Offshore. Offshore works great. So that's offshore that he found this spot. Henry, Cook, Jackson, Allen, over 349.5 rush yards combined and over 2.5 rush receiving touchdowns combined at plus 675. Then the next spot we have, I put that on the wrong thing, is Smith and Brown over 199.5 receiving yards combined at plus 600. Remember, Ramon just needs to catch one of these to be healthy in the black. Tim Patrick over 39.5 receiving yards at plus 420, very quickly becoming one of my favorite players in the league. Kelsey over 69.5 receiving yards at plus 210. My spite bet against Kelsey cashes. Again, spite bets cash at such an alarmingly high ROI. It's fascinating. Spite bets. Remember them and use them. Ramon, we love you. Star of the Morning Steam Show. 7 days a week, this man provides the goods. 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern. The Morning Steam on the Sports Money YouTube channel. Ramon, thank you for all that you do. Please support him also on X at Ramon Scott Media. And thank you for rocking our live streams all year. You bring so much fun to the shows. Hopefully you can join us this weekend because we have monster live streams. Of course, we have our UFC live stream tonight, but then Sunday we have Ravens, Bills. Monday, Notre Dame, Ohio State. Ramon, any last words for the Cappers supporting the show?
Thanks to everybody in the chat for tuning in all year. I've enjoyed my appearances here, Jim, and let's have a great weekend with some great football.
Absolutely. There is Ramon Scott. We have two guests left. They both have made their debuts this season, and neither of them have given us a losing show ever. They have both only one here on the show. Our next guest, he is the star of the Each Every Stride YouTube channel. He's a phenomenal thoroughbred capper, but he is more than that. He joined us on week 17, and with such an enormous, exciting card to give us 9 bets plus 0.65 units. The black is the black and the win is a win. And when you win, we want you back here as soon as possible. He's busy. He's a busy man, but he's ready to rock with us right now. Please welcome our friend, again, the star of the Each Every Stride YouTube channel, of which I'm a subscriber of, our friend Keith. My man, how are you?
What's up, Jimmy, and everybody here? I'm so glad to be back here with NFL Pub Hub, and yeah, I'm just using a headset here, backup audio, but hopefully you hear me okay, and I'm just glad to be back, so I'm looking to make the sequel even better than the debut.
Looking forward to hear you attack. Yes, Keith, and I'll go back and I'll lift your vocals up so I'll make it sound as best as we can here. Take it away though for us, Keith. Texans, Chiefs. Floor is yours.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, comes down to this, right? The 4 big games, and yeah, we got Texans at Chiefs. I heard you talking before, Jimmy, about the betting splits, and a lot of the handles, obviously defending champ on Kansas City here. And rightfully so. I thought the Texans really showed something last week against the Chargers, though, both offensively and defensively. 32-12, big win. I was on the +3 for the Texans then. They held the Chargers to 50 rushing yards on 18 carries. So that was impressive. And I know that the Chiefs are going to look to establish this run game with Pacheco and Hunt. But the Texans are the 3rd best in the league with holding running backs to only 3.89 rushing yards per carry. So I think that Kansas City hasn't played like LJ was. I was listening to him before. They haven't played in nearly a month. I mean, the starters didn't play, against Denver. I'm sure we're going to see some Mahomes magic in Kansas City. Kansas City did beat the Texans last time, 27-19, last time they played in December. For me, I looked at this game and I actually put a bet in earlier this week, and I feel pretty strong about this, is that I don't see Kansas City's offense coming out and exploding, right away off this layoff. I think eventually they're going to get the groove back with Mahomes. It comes down to the Texans. They have to show the same kind of tenacity with the defense that they did with the Chargers. I like the full game under in this one. I got it at 42. So I'm under 42 minus 112. I've seen some 41.5. It's kind of going back to 42, but I like the under in this one. I think that, Texans they're going to have to show more offensively. Obviously, they put up points against the Chargers, but Kansas City's defense has improved the last few years. So I like the under in this one. I'll also give you one more player prop, Jimmy, is I like the Dalton Schultz, tight end for the Texans. I like to get over receiving yards, over 38.5 receiving yards, minus 113. Kansas City really struggles. It's actually one of the few things Kansas City struggles with this year is against the tight ends. Entire season, they give up the most receiving yards to tight ends. I like Schultz. He's due for a better game. So I like Schultz over 38.5 receiving yards, minus 113 also.
That was 38.5?
Yeah, 38.5.
Yeah,
You got it.
minus 113. You are locked in. This total, though, there's no. You scared me when you said the 42s are back. I was like, oh no. Now, we can get you the 42 though offshore at a different price because I got the 42 as well. Now the 41.5s are available market wide, but we can get you the 42 right now minus 117.
Yeah, that's I got it. Let's see. I'll review it right here for you. I got minus 112 officially. Yeah.
So it costs you 5 extra cents, or you could have the 41.5 at minus 110. What would you prefer?
I like the 42 actually. I mean, I could switch it here, but I already got it in my bet stamp and everything, so I'm just gonna ride with my original play.
I think that's the right way to do it. It's just for our record keeping purposes. You kind of want to have the same number that you bet. Jermaine, our live, we have UFC today. It's all UFC here on the channel. Starts at 6 p.m. Eastern. But tomorrow we have Bills, Ravens, and Monday we have Notre Dame, Ohio State. Let's roll on, my friend. Schultz over 38.5 receiving yards, minus 113, the under 42 in Texans, Chiefs. We head over to Ford Field, Detroit, Michigan, Commanders, Lions. Floor is yours, my man.
Yeah, I heard you talking before about this one, Jimmy, and all your guests. I think both teams can really score in this one. They put up points offensively the entire season. We've seen this actually is the highest total, betting total. Last time I looked, when I wrote my notes and everything, it was a 55.5. I wasn't really interested, though. I mean, that's a pretty sharp number, so I kind of stayed away from the over-under there. I really liked what Jaden Daniels did last week, though. I mean, a rookie going on the road, winning, in their building against, I thought, a pretty good Tampa Bay team. So that was impressive. Very composed, too, taking care of the football. And the Lions do give up the 4th most passing yards, in the NFL. So, question is, listen, the Lions, there's no question about their offensive weapons. Now Montgomery back in the fold. So you got Goff, Gibbs. You got the double-headed dragon there with the running back. So I think that it's going to come down to, I locked my bet in earlier this week. I thought the Commanders really showed something last week, though. I really think that they showed a competitive edge that they can hang with, good team. Obviously, I think a much better team here. I think that Washington themselves, they got to watch out, though, because they give up the 3rd most running yards per attempt, 4.8. So they're going to have to somehow control Gibbs and Montgomery. I do like Washington to cover here, though. I think that it's going to come down to hopefully competitive. Washington's going to need a couple of huge stops, though. I got Washington at plus 9.5, minus 110. I thought that, listen, they could keep it at least a touchdown game. I know it's in Ford Field, but I think Washington's kind of a team that could be, you can run hot, right, in the playoffs. And the Lions have kind of showed some inconsistencies in the defensive end against the pass. So I like the plus 9.5, minus 110 for the Commanders.
You are locked in. Unfortunately, this line has moved as we talked about, about 45 minutes ago. It's been moving towards Washington. Now we can still get you the 9.5 offshore at minus 115. But as I said earlier, the sharpest book, I believe the sharpest book offshore, they've moved this to an 8. Minus 108 for Detroit and minus 102 for Washington. But we can still get you the 9.5 at minus 115. You are in business. We move on to Sunday action, Keith. Rams, Eagles, Lincoln Financial Field. Take it away.
Jimmy, just real quick, I'll just throw in, I put a player prop in that one real quick with the Commanders, Lions. Yeah, I got plus 500 on it. I felt pretty good. It was that I got a Sam Laporta and Brian Robinson Jr. Touchdown parlay. So both of those, I got plus 500 on that one. So that's a half unit. I play half unit plays for player props, full unit on game props. So I just thought that was a good look right there. And Robinson could get a goal line carrier too. And then Laporta, listen, not the same kind of season as last year, but always a threat to get in the end zone.
That is, you are in business. Robinson
Thanks,
coming
Jimmy.
off a really poor football game. He said actually a few of them in a row. He must step up, and these are the indoor conditions that he favors. We will see if he can deliver here. Laporta Robinson Jr. anytime touchdown parlay at 5-1. Talk to us about Rams Eagles, my man.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's talking about now the weather's changed in this one. So snowy, cold weather on the way here in the Northeast. Good football weather to play in. But, betting standpoint, I listened to what Ramon said. I really agree with a lot of what he said. I think the Rams kind of had their own way. I thought the game script really set up really good for the Rams there. They had blitz packages. 9 sacks against Sam Darnold. So I think it's a different situation here, though. I think Jalen Hurts can beat you with the legs, with the arm, obviously. And then Saquon Barkley, they're going to have to contain him as well. I think it's just this one's going to come down to the turnovers, right? Like they always do. I just thought it was set up really nicely for the Rams last week. So I'm actually on Philly in this one. I like the Eagles -6. I got it at -110. I put all these plays in earlier in the week. I just didn't want to take a chance with some of these lines, shifting. So I like the Eagles at home. I think they're going to get it done. Crowd's going to be fired up. I know these teams don't really have a lot of experience this year playing in this kind of cold weather. Even the Eagles, I looked back at their games, but give me Philadelphia at home. I think they beat them by a touchdown at least.
You got it. We can get you that -6. The line has been creeping towards the Eagles for some time now. The sharpest books have moved it to 6.5. We can still get you the 6, cost 4 cents. -6, -114. That rolls us into our live stream right here tomorrow night. It's an early game. Our live stream starts at 5:45 p.m. Eastern. Ravens Bills right here. Thank you, Jose, for popping that thumbnail up. We're pumped up about the game. How are you getting paid? We had the Ravens train running until Flash put a stop to it. What's your plan here?
I came up with more of a creative play on this one. I just thought it was a coin flip. I thought that it was going to be a very good game as hyped. The high for this one, it's going to be later on Sunday, is only 22 degrees currently there in Buffalo. So it's going to be a cold one. Now, I was slightly surprised the Bills are, the home dog, around +100 in this one. Lamar versus Josh. I've seen some quotes in the media saying Lamar's like, he doesn't want to be friends with Josh. He wants to beat him. So some pretty serious quotes there in the media. I think it comes down to also James Cook. Ramon was talking about it. I think he's going to try to establish the run because Allen, if it's just Josh Allen one-dimensional passing against this Ravens secondary, that's going to be a tough matchup consistently for Buffalo. So with all that said, I think that there's a lot of hype in this game. I think there's going to be a little bit of a feeling out process in the first half. Teams are going to make adjustments in the second half. Cold weather, the hype of the game. I like the first half under in this one. I like it under 25.5, -110. I think that was a pretty good number right there. Listen, these teams can obviously put up points. My prediction is going to be that there's going to be some points in the first half, but much more in the second half in a close game. And I do have Josh Allen under 46.5 rushing yards. Ravens actually do good. I got that at -110. So Ravens do good at good job at quarterbacks rushing the ball. Allen is obviously, he's a freak also with running the ball, but they're the 4th best in the league yardage-wise, Baltimore, containing these quarterbacks and running. So I got that 46.5 under -110 for Allen rushing yards, but my main full unit play is going to be first half under 25.5 -110.
Yeah, I talked about the dilemma that I went through, and I didn't want to double up on the unders. I thought it's sort of a contrarian look that I didn't want to double down on, and I ended up just with the 51.5 full game. You're the second capper to give out the first half under 25.5, the second capper to make it sound extremely appealing. I wonder, I kind of interested, see how I've done on the week and maybe decide to double down on it. And add the first half under, certainly in my thoughts right now. First half under 25.5, and Josh Allen under 46.5 rush yards. My man Sean Pulliam in the house. Great to see you, Sean. Eagles -6 for Keith. Washington plus 9.5, and then a Laporta Robinson Jr. anytime touchdown parlay at plus 500. And then we begin his card with Schultz over 38.5 receiving yards and the under 42 at minus 117. Keith, you have moved your programming to your own channel every stride. I'm a subscriber to your channel. I hope that everybody in the chat subscribes to the channel. Keith, my man, talk to us about what's going on your channel.
Thank you so much, Jimmy, for plugging that and being a subscriber. And yeah, we got the big Lecomte Stakes today at the fairgrounds. Sloppy conditions, but yeah, if you watch my video, I talk about 3 horses I really like. I talk about each horse too, so I give analysis on each horse. And we got the big Pegasus Stakes next Saturday on the 25th, so I'm going to be having some preview shows on that. I know, a lot of these streamers, we're going to have multiple shows as well. So, good luck to everybody. Give me a subscribe at Each and Every Stride YouTube channel. If you just put that in the search bar, it's actually the first one that comes up. And I'm gaining close to 100 subscribers now, so we're growing it pretty fast.
That's great news and richly deserved, my friend. Thank you so much for making time with us, for us. Apologies for running late. That's my fault. Let's just bring up Keith one last time, Jose. Keith, any final words here for the Capper Sport and Show?
Good luck today. I mean, we're really on tap for really good football. I like the scheduling and, each game, right? It just comes down to these 8 teams. You can get really creative, too, with the player props, I think. And, if you could find the right trend, just go for it. You have an opinion, I would just say crush it.
Speaking of opinions, we have a question here from our great friend Guillermo Zertucci, horse pick from Keith for the Lecomte, because it's a big one.
Oh wow, big one here. Yeah, I like the 3-7-11 exacta box. I know that the sloppy conditions there. The 3 actually scratched, so I stand corrected. It's actually be 4-7-11. So I think that's going to be the 3 players. Now Built, the number 13 horse, is actually the morning line favorite, 3-1. This horse is I think he's either going to win or be off the board type. It's a really fast horse for Wayne Catalano. I'm not going to use him just from a betting standpoint. 3-1, number 13 post. We only had 1 scratch in the entire field. So 4-7-11 exacta box. Those are the 3 horses. I got some prices in there. And, listen, it's sloppy conditions. If you can get those Tomlinson speed figures out, right, with looking at some of these pedigrees and some of these mutters, if you have an angle, just go for it.
I love it, Keith. Thank you for your time, my friend. There he is, starting Each Every Stride YouTube channel, our friend Keith. We put our next guest in the headlining spot for many reasons. One, his energy is perfect for closing up a long show. 2, he has won every single time he has joined us. He has joined us on week 15, week 17, week 18, and he is plus 1.85 units, but up in the black on every single one of these shows. He gives out either props or action, always with now, and he doesn't need to do this, but always so far on a plus money spot, so that if he does go 1-1 like he did in week 18, plus 0.25 units, or 2-2 in week 15 plus 0.06 units. And he is also one of the stars of our number 1 show here on Pub Sports Radio, the Locker Room Talk podcast, and will be starring in our live stream tonight for UFC 311 that is popping off in 3 hours and 42 minutes. Please welcome our final guest here on today's show, Just My 2 Cents in the house. 2 Cents, how are you?
Jimmy, I'm blushing, dude. I'm getting all nervous now, dude.
Hey,
thank you
man.
for the kind words, man, and thank you for having me back. Yeah,
excited.
boys, sorry about the background. It's up there for a reason, like Jimmy said. It's going down. Did you guys get that 311 reference? But yeah, it's going down UFC 311. So I'm very excited about that and very excited to be back here. Like you said, dude, 3 for 3.
3 for 3.
Becoming a victim of my own success here, but it's a good problem to have, man. So let's fucking go 4 for 4, dude.
Let's roll here.
boy.
Texans Chiefs. Yeah,
Texans Chiefs. Everyone has a lot of strong opinions about this game, and this is one of what? There's 4 games, so 3 games. I did not pick a side. I just did same game parlays or a player prop. I've been having success with those on this very show. And speaking of this very show, please, boys, there are almost 200 people in here the last time I checked There ain't even 75 fucking likes. Smash the fucking like button, please. I love you to death. But back to the game. So I'm not picking a side in this one. I would rather get a fucking root canal than bet the Chiefs to cover. But I do like the Chiefs to win this game. What I did, same game parlay, all Chiefs shit now. First leg, the Mahomie to throw 2 touchdown passes, or over 1.5 technically. Travis Kelce to catch 4 passes. And the Kansas City Chiefs to win the game. That is plus 117. That's all I got there.
Chiefs to win, combined with Mahomes to throw over 1.5 touchdown passes and Kelce to catch at least 4 passes. Another plus number here. It is so important to watch what are Cowboys doing that is working. And here we see 2 cents with another plus money spot, finding a way to not pay any vig for his action. Mahomes over 1.5 touchdowns, Kelce 4+ receptions for more Chiefs, and that is a plus 117 spot for our guy 2 cents. 2 cents. We move on to the Saturday night spot, Ford Field, Detroit, Michigan, the great city of Detroit, going to be popping this evening. Take it away, your plan of attack.
Oh my goodness. I'm really fucking excited about this game. The Commanders, dude, I did not expect the Commanders to be in this fucking game. And I got a couple buds that are big old Detroit Lions fans. So first of all, let me get that out of the way. I'm not betting a side here. I think the Lions win, but I don't know about them points, Jimmy. So I'm staying away from all that shit. Dude, betting Lions player props for me has kind of been a mixed bag. So I'm staying away from that too. I've had some success doing it, and I got burned recently. So I'm just staying away from that. I saw this line, and I just took it. It just felt right. This dude has been pretty hot recently. He is in sync, so to speak, with his quarterback. And I think that Terry Terrific going to find the end zone. We going Terry McLaurin, anytime touchdown, plus 130. Ferda.
Scary Terry, certainly the WR1. Not only is he delivering on the field, but a leader in the locker room. And it's great to see him finally have a quarterback that can help execute the skill set that he has.
Yeah, he exactly. And he's one of Daniel's favorite targets. I think he's going to have to lean on him in this game. He's been finding him in the end zone like the last 2 weeks. I think it's 3 in a row. I think the Lions win, but I don't like that minus 9.5 or whatever the fuck it was at. So yeah, give me Terry McLaurin to catch in the end zone.
Scary Terry McLaurin, anytime touchdown, plus 130 for our guy 2 cents, which rolls us into Sunday action. Rams, Eagles, Lincoln Financial Field, a dangerous place for any Rams fans. Are there Rams fans that are brave enough to venture into Lincoln Financial Field?
Woo, you got a pair on you. You know what it takes to fucking venture into that fucking stadium? It takes big brass balls, Jimmy the Bag.
I went to a Canucks game. Oh, sorry, it was a Flyers game, but the Canucks were playing the Flyers. I had my Canucks jersey on. Before the game started, I got up and I said, "This man here beside," I yelled, "it is my father. We are a father and son here. We love the city of Philadelphia, and we're here to cheer on the Canucks. Please don't abuse us physically."
You better keep your defense tight in fucking in Philly land, dude.
It got some laughs, it got some chirps, but we left safe. And I had to have him because it's a very scary place. And the Canucks won 3-0 too. I kept screaming, when are they going to announce the Flyers goals? And then just 40, 50.
Get out of town. Get out of Dodge.
Yes, but I did not. We did not get hurt. Thank you to everybody in the city of brotherly love. Take it away for us, 2 cents. Rams, Eagles, Lincoln Financial Field.
Dude, first of all, shout out to Keith, man. Shout out to Keith, another recent guest on this show. So shout out to him. And I loved what he was saying about this game, and I have much the same mind. We're pretty much on the same play. There's just too many things going against the Rams in this game. Not only traveling all the way to the East Coast, which has not been particularly successful for West Coast teams this year. It's gonna be snowing tomorrow. It's gonna be cold as fuck. And the Rams don't have a very good running defense. I think they're going to get fucking pancaked by Saquon and Hurts and the rushing offense, and I think that's going to open up the passing game. So best of luck to Ramon Scott. I think some of that, I can't remember exactly what he had, but I think some of those passing props for the Eagles, I could just open things up. I think they're going to fucking snowplow the Rams, dude. So I took the -6.5. I completely agree with Keith. I think they're going to win by a touchdown, maybe like a field goal, touchdown and a field goal. So like Eagles -10, maybe even like -17. I could see this game getting out of hand if the Rams start falling apart. Sirianni is not the type to let up off of the throat if it starts to go his way. And I think the Eagles fucking roll here. Eagles -6.5, -105 is what I bet.
And that 6 now we get a little bit better. We can get it for you at -102 available right now.
Well, shit.
So no less vig, but
I won't
-105.
argue with you, Jimmy. I appreciate it.
Eagles -6.5. A lot of cappers believing in that. In fact, I don't think we've had a Rams spot here from anybody.
It's not like the Rams are a bad team. Like, credit to them for beating the Bucks, but like this is one of the years where it's like, dude, the argument of every team from every division needs to be in the playoffs. Like, nobody from the fucking NFC South deserves to be in the fucking playoffs, and Eagles are just a way better team at home. No, I don't think so. I think they're gonna fuck the Rams up.
Very, very possible. I did. So I moved on the Rams +6 early in the week. I got cold feet and used the Eagles money line with the Ravens double result at +160. Sorry, the Eagles money line with the Lions double result at +116 to make me less uncomfortable. But I did get caught up in the improved defense with the Rams and McVay on short weeks, and McVay with the coaching advantage over Sirianni. I got
Stafford's a quarterback with a lot of experience, got a ring. He's got playoff experience, so he's not going to be like I don't think he's necessarily going to be like scary or anything. I just think there's too many things going against him. But I will say this in the interest of full transparency, I have not been, as my dude Billy likes to say, just schmacking with like money lines or like anything like that. I've been doing better with player props, but I do think the Eagles get it done here pretty comfortably.
McVay in his career, and this was just sometimes his stats, some stats stick with you and maybe hurt you financially, but McVay has just gotten better and better and better in this short rest situation. Now he's 7-1 in his last 8 games on short rest, 12-2 in his last 14 games on short rest. He's 8-2 with Stafford on short rest. I mean, I just those are all metrics
that favor that the points you're taking on the Rams. So with best of luck, man. I could be totally wrong here.
No,
this is coming from a Cowboys fan, boys. I do not like the fucking Eagles. Do I want the Eagles to just fucking dump truck the Rams? I'm not going to be fucking like laughing about that or anything or being happy, but I will be happy that bet, guys. Just.
Yeah, I Troy was bullish on the Eagles. I got cold feet, so I added the Eagles money line with the Lions double result. We have the first side given here from our guy 2 cents, but again, sides, it's not, we don't care, we just care about winners. So it can be sides, props, totals, we just want winners, and that is something that 2 cents has delivered every single time he's been on our show. 3 for 3 in the black. Take us to our final spot on the board. This is not our final game though, as Jose Snips Bouet will be giving us a best bet right after this. But 2 cents, take it away. Ravens, Bills, our live stream right here.
So, again, in the interest of full disclosure, I'm not a Ravens fan, but the Ravens are my sweetheart team. My wife is a Ravens diehard. She's actually from Baltimore. So, I want to make that clear. Because of that, I'm not just saying that to like have a little fucking story time here. I'm saying that because I wanted to take my bias out of this game. When I told myself I was going to bet it, I'm like, I'm going to remove the bias here. I think the Ravens win. I think it could be a squeaker, though, dude. I think it could be Tucker literally just like winning it by like a point. So I know it's just only -1.5, but something about it, like I just don't feel. I think it'd be a really close game. So I just stayed the fuck away from a money line. And I'm just going with something that's been, for the most part, pretty reliable, and that's like Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and one of his favorite targets, Mark Andrews. This is a same-game parlay for the Ravens, boys. Shout out to everybody watching right now. Please smash the like button. This is what I did.
Let's hear it.
3-legger. Action Jackson, 175 plus passing yards. The Bills do not have the best passing defense as far as yardage given up. King Henry, 70 plus rushing yards. I don't think he's going to have like an almost fucking, what was it, 200-yard game against, like, I don't think he's going to have that kind of game, but I think he can get like between 75 and 100 yards. So I did 70 plus, and Mark Andrews, 25 plus passing yards. So that's Action Jackson, 175 plus passing yards, Mark Andrews, 25 plus receiving yards, and Derrick Henry, 70 plus rushing yards. Plus 109 is what I got, Jimmy.
That sounds really good. Makes a ton of sense. Lamar Jackson, 175 plus passing, Henry 70 plus rushing, Mark Andrews 25 plus receiving at plus 109, Eagles minus 6.5 at minus 102, Scary Terry anytime touchdown at plus 130, and Mahomes over 1.5 touchdowns, Kelsey 4 plus receptions, and Chiefs money line at plus 117 for our guy 2 cents. 2 cents, our huge UFC 311 streams popping off in 3 hours and 29 short minutes. We got a horse racing look from Keith. Do we have a UFC 311 spot for you, my friend?
Oh my goodness, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I would rather quit you than shit you, dude. I would rather leave you and never fucking speak to you again than lie to your fucking face. So yeah, I have. It's been up and down with me in UFC, but I will give you my bets that I have.
Sure.
So shout out to the boys on the Locker Room Talk podcast. Make sure y'all tune in every Tuesday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on Pub Sports Radio. The new episode is out. Make sure y'all check it out. But the parlay kind of got screwed up because of the opponent change. Islam Makhachev was supposed to fight Arman Sarukian. Arman Sarukian got a dubious back injury. I'm not saying the back injury was dubious, but the announcement was weird. He's out. Moicano's in. Money Moicano. So it's Islam versus Moicano. Long story short, the odds got fucked up, but I did re-bet Islam. I put him in the parlay. And the other leg, Rinya Nakamura, that didn't change other than the odds. So the odds got a little steeper, but my parlay remained the same. This is my parlay for UFC 311. It's Rinya Nakamura, Islam Makhachev, and I added Jamal Unk Hill, and that's plus 124. That is my parlay. And do you want to talk about spite bets, dude? I heard you say something about spite bets, Jimmy. I'm really fucking glad you said that because of this, dude. The thing that pissed me off the most about that opponent change is I had a Beneil Dariush bet. Dariush was supposed to fight Moicano, and I really liked Benny as an underdog, so he just got the fuck put to him. It's like, Benny, here's your show money. Get the fuck out of here. But anyways, I was pissed about that, so I was like, you know what? They voided it out, so I was just like, fuck it, dude. And I put a spy bet on Sergey Spivak, the fucking vampiric Moldovan. Nosferatu, dude. Heavyweight Nosferatu plus 340.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that with us,
my
friend. I've written it all down. Excited about the live stream. Proud of what you guys have done on the Locker Room Talk podcast, our #1 show here on the channel. It gets bigger and bigger every single week, so stay tuned in 2025. And please support our guy 2 cents on X. He's a big supporter of our channel, a big friend of mine and of the channel. I'm going to pop his X handle here in the chat. Please support our guy. 2 cents, my man. Any last words for the Capper Sport in the show?
Oh, man, dude, thank you so much for the kind words again, Jimmy. Thank you for having me back, and let's just fucking keep winning, boys. Let's all just keep fucking winning. Let's stay in the black, as Jimmy likes to say. Please smash the like button if you haven't done so already. Would love to see y'all at UFC 311. The live stream will be going down, dude. I'll be calling the 1s and 2s. Billy and Joey and Mills and the boys will all be there giving you that fucking sharp analysis and all the betting action, man, how the lines are going to be moving and all that shit. And I'll be there fucking running my mouth, dude. But thanks again, dude. Best of luck to everyone today. Let's make it 4 for 4. Kick ass. Thanks again, Jimmy. Appreciate it. And I will catch y'all next time.
There he is, our guy, just my 2 cents, headlining this jamboree. But we have one spot left and it goes to the man behind the scenes for our channel. Huge. He's the backbone of our channel and my producer and co-star. Please welcome Snips Bouet to the telecast to put a bow on today's proceedings. How are you, Jose, my friend?
Jimmy, wrong. Here we go. Better now. Jimmy, I'm doing well. It's nice to see you. I'm excited about today's card, and I've got a few bets for you.
I'm looking forward to it, and you're right, Mel. You are right. Jose is the headliner. Take it away, Snips. Looking forward to hear your plan of attack. Floor's yours.
Yeah, so obviously I'm not starting in the NFL first, Jimmy, because we're betting the Montreal Habitants again today here at plus 120 against the Maple Leafs. So just know that to start off with. Number 2.
Great spot, though, too, because the Leafs lose Johnny Toronto. We bet them to step up, and they do exactly that, as we see teams time and time again. But what happens on game 2, you may ask?
They buckle.
The market is not caught up with how good the Habs are. I'm right with you. And I only beat it by 5 cents, and I bet it 24 hours ago. So I love it. So I'm right with you.
I'm in. I got plus 120. For those that care, there is 71% of the bets, 72% of the money on the Maple Leafs. I'm seeing openers at like minus 160 or something like that. I'm not sure. Let me double check this and refresh. But the point is, all the money's on the Maple Leafs. The line has come back on the Canadiens here. So minus 145 there. I saw minus 140, minus 138s now. So yes, Habs on them, riding them. I was very close to betting the Pittsburgh Penguins today as well, Jimmy. I'll tell you that as well against the Capitals. I don't love the back-to-back spot, so I didn't bet that one. Game 2, my second bet's here. Now I have 2 bets in this game. A massive game, Jimmy. As my dictator once said, it smells like sulfur here because we're the enemy here today, Jimmy. It's Venezuela versus the United States in a soccer. It is a friendly. The game doesn't mean shit, but it means everything to me, damn it. It's in Miami. And you know what's in Miami, Jimmy? A whole heap of Venezuelans there. It's going to be a road game, and we are going to open hand slap Venezuela or the United States in the face. They're minus 140. What a disrespectful line. Fuck them. Plus 375. Venezuela is going to win the game. And first half draw plus 125 because that first half is going to be a fight, a battle for position and glory. 2 bets there for my Venezuelans. In game 3 here, Jimmy, an actual football bet. Buffalo Bills, Baltimore Ravens. All the other games are very difficult to bet, I think. But this one, I feel like we've seen this line shift happen so many times, and I've been caught on the wrong end of it. We see a 1.5 point line flip to the other side, and I've seen that other side lose plenty of times before. So give me the Buffalo Bills here. Kind of felt better about everyone piling on the Ravens, everyone on the Ravens. And me and my fellow non-American Flash on the Buffalo Bills here today. So shout out to all the non-Americans out there, Canadians, Costa Ricans, English people, because today the United States is the enemy, and we are on Venezuela, the Buffalo Bills, and Los Habitants.
I love it. I love it. Jose firing heavy. I also my ROI on non-show days, just because I can only bet the ones I'm most confident in. I cut a bunch of bets that I almost bet, and I looked again at this morning and I cut. But in NHL, I'm on the Oilers. I beat the line move very easily, minus 102. I've heard some contrarians on the Canucks, and I was like, why would? Okay, it's one thing to be contrarian, but why bet it early? We know the line's moving to the Oilers, so say, look, say I'm going to be on the Canucks, but I'm going to wait till I can get the best available line. Don't just come out and say, oh, I'm on the Canucks plus whatever. I mean, it's just mistake to me. But the Predators minus 1 is another move I smashed. I didn't smash the Habs, but Predators minus 1. Now Brock Faber is coming back for the Minnesota Wild, but fade Minnesota, fade Minnesota. Bills for Jose. We need to give you the line here for the Bills, as of course we track your football action here on this show.
Yeah, I got
So-
evens. I'm sure you get plus 105 or whatever, but
Plus
yeah, I got
105,
even
yeah.
money.
Okay. Philly Eagle Flyer on the Blues money line. Again, Philly Eagle Flyer, that was one I cut. And I know the line's moving towards the Blues, but it's just that sweet. Now, there's no chance I'd be on Utah, but it's that sweet spot on the home. I think it's what, the 5th of 6 home games, or the 6th of 7. It's the second to last home game of a home game stretch, and I just can't fade a team in that situation, despite knowing that the Blues are the better hockey team. So I'm off of that spot here.
Oh, by the way, good bet. I'm sure you'll like this bet. Jimmy, I saw Mel put in the chat earlier. I looked to try to bet it myself. I can't bet it right now. Vancouver Canucks to not make the playoffs, plus 125.
Yeah,
and yes, Nasty Nate, shout out to Carlo Deportes.
Again, that spot is interesting. I would need to spend a little more time on it. I mean, a trade is imminent. So right now, for the bottom of the West is much better than the bottom of the East, because you have the Avalanche there. But who of these teams are better than the Canucks? And the Blues would be the only one. Flames, Blues, Utah, Ducks, Kraken, Predators, Sharks, Blackhawks. It's a trash heap of garbage, which is the same in the Eastern Conference. It's just the shittiest. It's the weakest I've ever seen for the haves and the have-nots, or the dichotomy between the haves and have-nots. I've never seen it greater in the NHL right now. So, but I guess the plus line there is right. A trade will be made here shortly. Let's review all action here on this show, and stay with me here, Jose, as we put the show to bed. I'm really confident with my action. It's a funny thing to be. I'm hitting 55.5% on the year. 236 bets. ROI plus 6.72%. So I have every right to be confident. I just don't remember being this confident. I don't need to add anything. Also now we break it down to 4 games. I've never been more prepared. I feel quite good here with my action. And my action's been up on the screen a lot of the day, so I don't need to review it again. Let's review action from cappers in our chat. LJ coming off a 12-2 plus 9.57 unit day, which was funny because we didn't have our guy Marley, who also would have had a monster day, but he wasn't here. So LJ trying to climb into that. And don't forget, guys, we are closing with our brand new LJ from H-Town track that's closing here in seconds. That'll be our closer here. But LJ on the Texans first half plus 6, Fairburn over 1.5 field goals minus 150, Kelsey 6+ receptions, Chiefs money line, that's at plus 150, over 3.5 field goals at plus 105. Then we have him on the Lions first half minus 6 and minus 109, Gibbs 2 touchdowns at plus 221, Jameson Williams 80+ receiving yards, Lions win at plus 195, and Commanders team total over 23.5 minus 101. Eagles Lions money line parlay at minus 157, Justice Hill anytime touchdown and a win plus 700, Lamar Jackson over 1.5 touchdowns and a win at plus 144, Henry anytime touchdown and a win at plus 112. Spenny Penny Bombs also gave us his action here right off the hop. For those of you still with us that missed that earlier, I'm going to pop Spenny's action for game 1 here in the chat. That's for the first game popping off. And thank you to Spenny Penny Bombs for sharing that with us. Then in Clint McLean's action, Xavier Worthy ladder from 50, 60, 70, 80. Then we have the De'Ami Brown over 35.5 receiving yards. We have Rams plus 6.5, Rams money line plus. Oh, so we did have the one guy give the Rams out. Okay, good. Then Ravens minus 114, Lamar Jackson 50+ rush yards minus 140, Justice Hill 25+ receiving yards minus 110, Nelson Aguilar 25+ receiving yards at plus 235. Birdie joining us, and Birdie didn't hammer the board like I'm used to, but he's locked in right now. Texans plus 9.5, Lions minus 8.5. Rams first quarter money line. That non-correlated parlay was a really nice touch from Birdie. And Chiefs minus 2, Lions minus 1.5, Bills plus 8 at plus 130. There's Nichols Handy Flyers goal. So Flyers was a late cut, but I had Flyers first period and full game, and the Devils had played 4 straight games that had gone to the extra session, coming off the loss, and I ended up leaving it off my card. But, any win for the Flyers is good for me because I got their over point total, got them to make the playoffs. Marley gave us Texans first half plus 6. Now that had changed to plus 104 in just an hour or 45 minutes. Lions first half minus 6. We have Eagles minus 6. and Ravens money line. Flash gave us Chiefs first half team total over 13.5. He gave us the first half under 27.5 and Jamison Williams anytime touchdown plus 128. And then he gave us the first half under 21.5 in Rams Eagles. And then he closed up shop with the Bills plus 105. So we have Jose and Flash up against a lot of cappers here. Ramon Scott gave us Kelsey over 69.5 receiving yards at plus 210. You're going to hear some big numbers here, but he cashed a plus 550 with us last week. Ramon has Tim Patrick over 39.5 receiving yards at plus 420. He has Smith Brown combined receiving yards over 199.5. And he's got a very interesting parlay for our final game, which will be here on our live stream. Henry, Cook, Jackson, Allen, 4 players over 349.5 rush yards combined and over 2.5 rush receiving touchdowns. That's a plus 675 banger. Keith, every stride gave us the under 42 in Houston, Kansas City. Schultz over 38.5 receiving yards. Washington plus 9.5. Laporta Robinson Jr. touchdown parlay. Then he gives Eagles minus 6. The first half under 25.5 in Ravens Bills. And Josh Allen under 46.5 rush yards. Jose, I'm going to read off 2 cents action, but I'm going to ask you if you think that the first half under should be added in the Ravens Bills game, and if you like the first half under better than the full game under. Big O, by the way, 2-7-11, and he likes maximum promise in the Lecomte at the fairgrounds. We have Mahomes this is for 2 cents. Mahomes over 1.5 touchdowns, Kelsey 4+ receptions, and Chiefs money line at plus 117. We have Scary Terry anytime touchdown at plus 130. Eagles minus 6.5 at minus 102. We have Lamar Jackson 175+ pass in yards, Henry 70+ rush yards, and Mark Andrews 25+ receiving yards at plus 109. Jose gave us the Habs. He gave us Venezuela to beat America at plus 375 in the first half draw. Did you think of Venezuela win or tie?
Yeah, I just didn't have that available, and I saw the plus. I the plus like 1.5 or plus 1 was minus 125. I was looking for plus money.
Mm-hmm. No, it makes sense. And then the Bills money line at plus 105. Thank you guys so much. And there's Mr. Bombs himself here. Thank you all for supporting our channel. We have nothing without you. Pacheco De Gallo, thank you. Nunya, Spenny, Gerald Jones, Donut Silks, Nunya, My Nibbler, Man Bear Pig. Thank you guys for rocking with us. Old E, Nicholas Handy, Viper NB, Ramon Scott, Nasty Nate, Ricky Levine. Thank you guys. Man Bear Pig, Rick J, Mel, Big O Textiles, The Nuke Worker, Luke Burrow, T Moss. So many. I wish I could give you guys all a shout out because you all deserve one. Harold Williams, Alexicon. Truly, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for supporting the channel and giving us the opportunity to do what we love so much, which is cap and make money with you guys. And that's exactly what we have been doing of late. We've been running real nice. Jose, my man, can you please give us our final words and send us into our brand new song from LJ from H-Town?
Yep. Shout out to LJ. Great work. And shout out to T on the editing as well. Shout out to the both of them. Great job. Good luck to everyone in the chat. If the U.S. wins, just know I'm financially burdened, and it's going to be very, very annoying to deal with all of my American friends around me because I might have been talking shit about this game for a few months now.
Sure.
Big game. But good luck, everyone. Harold, Nunya, Nasty Nate, Top Set, Man Bear Pig. Good luck at the Butt Man tonight. I think that's tonight at some point, whenever
that's
that
tonight,
is.
Yeah. That's
yep. Shout out to the Butt Man and good luck, Man Bear Pig. Gerald Jones, My Nibbler, all you guys, Philly Eagle Flyer, Mel, good luck with all your action. I am interested in that to Vancouver bet, and hopefully I will get that in. So good luck to everyone, and let's listen to the sweet, sultry tones.
I'm excited.
LJ from H-Town.